Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
All right, happy Wednesday. Welcome to a Rare Wednesday Overnighter. My schedule opened up, so I try to have mercy on you guys, especially the ones on the East Coast and around the world. If I can get on early, I do. Got topics tonight, so it's sort of like a semi-overnighter.
Oh, God, I'm sure I know what one of them is, too.
Tonight's show and the rest of this week's show are brought to you by Paramount Pictures Smile 2. It's the last thing you'll see. And by the request of Warner Brothers, and I know I'm going to get demonetized and kicked off for this or whatever, but I have your guys' email. So if they take us off, it won't be for long. I'm going to go ahead and show the trailer for Smile 2. I hope this one redeems the last one, because I thought the last one was an intense movie all the way up to the stupid ending. Now, if this is a continuation, then obviously maybe that'll complete the circle, and that will make me happy. Here we go.
We're starting off with the trailer, huh?
You listen to me? Something really
Promo.
bad happened.
This is a new trailer, or is it? Because I've seen a couple trailers.
From high school.
Okay.
It's the one that they
I
sent
went to
me
his
to show.
apartment.
Okay.
But when I showed up,
This is a new one. Sorry.
Lewis?
Naomi Scott, I haven't seen her in anything since. I mean, yeah, COVID, but I don't think I've seen her in anything theatrically since like Charlie's Angels.
I didn't even see that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sky Riley, you are in the middle of a big world
Kind of a
tour.
celebrity crush. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I keep seeing this face everywhere.
This thing is a parasite. You witnessed a death. Now it's latched onto you.
911, what's your emergency?
I've traced a string of deaths to you. Nobody has survived longer than a week.
Sky, pull it together and get back out there.
No, I will not let this thing use me.
How do we stop it?
We need to kill you first.
What? We have to end it. No matter what. You're not in control.
I need to stop it, but I don't know how.
There you go, Smile 2. I almost said Smile
Yeah, that's
3.
pretty good. I'm looking forward to that.
has its own little post-credit scene there. That's cute. All right, yeah. So yeah, we're giving away tickets all this week. So those of you who are local here in Las Vegas, you sign on to any of our social media, you'll see what you have to do to get on there. That screening will be next Tuesday at AMC Town Square, and I also have posters for those of you who want to swing by this weekend, grab one and get on the list that way as well. We are also going to be on the Saturday show. I am going to be giving away at least one copy of Absolute Batman #1. That's why it is in the thumbnail. Awesome. Absolute Batman #1 comes out tomorrow. I will have it on my shelf Thursday because I'm not picking up my books till Thursday morning. I like putting my books on the shelf on Fridays personally because that's when the majority of my sales are. I don't think it's going to matter what day I put these books on the shelf. I'm looking at a sellout of all of that and any remaining all-in #4s I have, because once you get Absolute Batman #1, probably going to want to pick up that one if you don't have it already, and I have a few left.
Yeah, it's doing by all accounts. The Absolute all-in universe is already off to a rocket start. Have you gotten the second issue or the reprint of the all-in intro to it?
Not yet, no. Because I ordered those. Those won't be in. All-in #4 just came out, and I still have a few left because I did a reorder on all-in #4 because I knew it was going to sell out. So just like I knew Absolute Batman was going to sell out, I got as many on back order as I could, but they went right into the second printing. So, and once they do that, they limit the amount of copies that are out there. So that'll be fun. So we'll do that this Friday. I will decide how I'm going to do it, but you will have to be watching. It won't just be. It'll be. I'll have one for locals and I'll have one for the YouTube show. So you have to be watching in order to know how to win and be a winner. So
and if we don't have any winners, just send it to me.
I doubt that that's going to be the case. All right. Do me a favor. Can you do me a favor? Because I'm not. Fighting all day. I want to talk about this whole Joker 2 thing. I do not want to use the variety artist.
Written by alleged journalist Tatiana Siegel.
Yeah. Now people have been giving me heat all day. Well, put your article in. You should read it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Listen, there are enough people who will be reporting on this. Screen Rant. Can you pull up the Screen Rant one?
Okay.
That will be reporting on this. I'm sorry. I'm done with of people who I know their writing styles are just out there to basically make the change. Yeah, well, they're out there to just stir things up. And like I said before, I'm not here to spread misery. The Screen Rant one was pretty good. I pretty much already just decided, in my opinion, on whose fault it is. It's gonna, and if you want to say fault, Todd Phillips made decisions. I didn't agree with him, but I don't. Those were his decisions to make.
Might need a little help with what was the title for it?
Whose fault was Joker 2?
Whose fault? Okay, yeah. Or who's to blame for Joker 2? Okay.
Who's to blame for Joker 2? I had it up, but I have too many. I'm not like ACS with like 80 tabs. He got carte blanche to do whatever you want to. Now, if you have an issue with that, a lot of directors get that, but the whole test screening thing. So a lot of this is going to come down to Todd Phillips and the leverage he used once he made that billion.
Antonio, I noticed that. She actually somehow made it through a full article about DC without taking a shot at Zach. So it's like, by her standards, that's progress.
I don't even bring up her name. I don't even bring up her name on the show because I don't.
Well, she's transparent. Well, with him specifically, she's transparently got some kind of vendetta against him.
Well, she's got a vendetta against fans in general. But
also, I mean, it's
But she's not the only one who wrote about this. That's why.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean, she's of the wing of journalism I don't like. It's the kind I will never dabble in, which is it's all about like digging through people's dirty laundry and a lot of it's very mercenary too in terms of there's a controversy, let's dive on it and let's just start mudslinging left and right about it. I hate that. It's very tabloidy. It's very mercenary. It's very sleazy. It's like I don't like her brand of quote unquote journalism.
Yep, which is why she's banned from the show.
I'm sure there'll be something else she'll find a way to press a nerve on. for too much longer.
Somebody tagged me today and asked me what I thought about the article.
No, I got tagged the same thing, and I said, yeah, I saw the author's name, so
yeah, I
told me
retweeted.
everything I needed.
There's just certain people whose content I'm just not going to read. If you guys want to go read that and refer to that particular person, I am. Some people, and then not just her, but some people in general who are now basically online content creators, because that's what the media is, are just out there to rile people up and aggravate them and then write about the results. And I'm just not going to be a part of that. I don't bring her. If you notice, I haven't brought her name up on this show in a year and a half. I will never bring that person's name up on this show because I think a lot of the damage that has been done to our fan base has been done at the pleasure of people for clicks and either to their articles or to their channels. And I think I can cover this question without ever bringing her name up.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will say about her piece, and this is kind of more probably on like the general reporting on Joker 2 after the opening weekend, is like what's the saying is like even like even when someone's bullshitting you, or even when someone you give like a half truth, there's still a kernel of truth in a lot of things. And I mean, there is a kernel of truth in I think in somewhat she had in that
didn't read
it was specifically but this is like it's a kernel of truth, but you didn't have to read like this reporting specifically. This is the kind of thing you can infer, and that is the kernel of truth is that the studio is in complete fucking turmoil. And it's what we've been saying on the show for quite a while now. It's like, yeah, that's why we're not diving head first into James Gunn's DCU, because it's like because we keep dealing with bumps in the road like this. And,
but people like her just exaggerate the situation. I know the studio's in turmoil. I don't need her. I don't need her.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't need her for anything. She's probably one of 3 or 4 journalists who I have no time to spare for. None.
Really, you never co-hosted the show with her? It's like if I hadn't been available, you would have gone to her. I would have just never. I would just gone solo. Yeah. I don't appreciate. Like I said, she's not alone. She's not the only one, but there are people out there that have just profited and made a living off of just fucking with certain fans, and in their wake they move on to another article. And all they do is they aim us at each other, and then there's people out there that just eat it up like fish on a bait. They got to click on her shit. They got to watch shit. I'm like, no. Yeah, but as far as like what I was saying a minute ago, it's like I'm sure we'll get into more of that when we kind of read through this. But I mean, it's just another kind of indicator of like the disarray of the studio, the mishandling of the IP.
Yeah, but we can go to a credible article to get that.
Yeah.
We don't need to bring her.
And I mean, I think it's unfortunate to say, but I mean, I think that what can now be called the failure of Joker Folia do. I mean, it's just kind of another like flag in the side of the road, pointing us to, yep, we're heading for another sale or merger or IP licensing or all this other stuff we were talking about on the show here. And yeah, so we'll get into that after we kind of read through the article here. So let me go ahead. This is by Carlos Wild. I did not ever meet Carlos during my time with Screen Rant.
Yeah, I'm going to give outlets like Screen Rant who write articles, in my opinion, that actually spread news instead of bullshit. So,
do you want to read the whole thing or just kind of go through the bullet points?
Just go through the bullet points because we pretty much it leads to.
Okay, so I'll go through like the subheadings. So Walter Hamada and this is about who's to blame for Joker 2. Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich had key roles in Joker 2's creation. The former film heads of Warner Brothers and DC got the film off the ground. And what's really ironic about that, of course, as we all know, is that Walter Hamada tried to prevent the first Joker from happening, and then they
cost him $500 million. Yep.
Exactly, they tried to stop it, from happening.
Oh, by the way, guys, don't hold your thought. I am watching AEW wrestling right now, and this is the third absolute and all-in ad that they've shown on their screen doing this show, which is I'm so happy
I saw RJ tag you in that on Twitter about like, showing ads for DC All In on there, which that's it's good.
This brings a tear to my eye because this is, like I said, follow the leader, follow Scott Snyder. All right, go ahead.
Yep. I'm sorry. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, Hamada, they tried to stop Joker from happening, and then when it was, when the train left the station, then it's like, okay, they budgeted, they did the what was it called? Like how they like the profit sharing, or how is it?
Well, what they did is they split the liability of the distribution. So instead of getting all the money, they got half the money.
Well, because they did that because they didn't want the movie to happen in the first place. And they said, okay,
well, they were worried that they didn't think it was going to do well,
yeah.
and it was
So
already
it's like if it bombs, then it's like, okay, we're spreading our our losses out among multiple parties. So it's like we won't feel the sting of that. And then it ended up being a cultural phenomenon, but the price of how they financed it was that, okay, we're getting like a much smaller slice of that pie than we should.
That's part of the reason why he got the green light and the non-supervision that he got this time around, because it was felt that it was the exact opposite for the original Joker, and they didn't want to have their hands on being the ones that got in the way of anything. That's good and bad in the same way, but more bad. Yeah. But go ahead.
Well, it's like William says, math is undefeated. So it's like you get $1 billion hit. It's like what studio executive isn't going to want to say, let's get more of this out there. But then obviously you're rolling the dice on whether or not you're going to be able to replicate that success.
Well, they could have. They could have.
And they could have, definitely.
I love Todd Phillips. His Joker. I don't have any use for any of his other movies because he's usually doing slapstick stuff and stuff I don't want.
The Hangover and Road Trip.
That's stuff that I could.
All those masterpieces.
Things that if you want to keep me out of somewhere, show those movies. But when it comes to Joker, I thought his Joker was fine. But here's the thing, in my opinion, when he came to them with this script, somebody should have said, okay, this is cool, but we need to tweak this. We need to add this. We need to do these things that we think will work, because even a dysfunctional studio is still supposed to act in their best interest. And the script is somebody had to come in and with some oversight. He got no oversight, and then there was no test screenings.
Well, it sounds like it sounds like he didn't even get like no oversights. I mean, it sounds like he was really like, this is like less than no oversight. I mean, this is
this is
$200 million. Do whatever the hell you want.
Test screenings don't mean anything to fans. I think fans are full of shit when they say, "Well, I saw a test screening." I mean, test screenings for the internal and to see how this is going to flow amongst people who understand how these movies are supposed to go. And this is why I'm not the biggest fan of director's cuts in most cases, because most of the stuff that's been changed in most cases that we always we always harp on the ones of the couple of them that are infamous, but for the most part, the producers, the people who that are sitting watching this movie, the studio, they got a good finger on their pulse, and Joker 2 is one of those things where as soon as the script was turned in, it should have been given back to them.
Well, yeah, because we've said on our personal reactions to the movie, it's like we don't think it's like deserving of the pounding.
No, it's not a Razzie or something.
But that said, it's like we both said this is not at the level of the first one. There are definitely significant issues that could have been ironed out here. And
plus they were worried. Another thing is they were worried. You'll probably hit it on the article. One of the reasons why they were worried is because if they didn't want him to walk, and if he walked, Joaquin Phoenix walks. But at some point, somebody's got to call somebody's bluff.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this is talking about like Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich, both the executives who are most definitely not missed at Warner Brothers, certainly not by DC fans. Then next kind of party is pointing to David Zaslav's orders appear to factor into Joker 2's creation. The Warner Brothers Discovery CEO pushed the film forward to production. Okay, now this part I'm going to read the whole kind of section on this because him, I don't think he's got him specifically because he came in so late in the process because of the merger. He hasn't gotten as much commentary on a lot of this. Kind of same thing for James Gunn and Peter Safran. David Zaslav has earned a bad reputation with some parts of DC's audience. That's an understatement. After the cancellation of Batgirl, well, not for that specifically.
Not for that at all. That is not.
Tons of other things DC related, but
that is not a valid gripe.
Sorry. And the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery can be seen tips some part in the blame of the failure of Joker Follow You Do, following Project Popcorn, an initiative from the studio in 2021 that saw their major films of the year simultaneously released in theaters on HBO Max. The studio was a poor place financially. Oh, I bet they wish they could go back to that poor place right now.
Yeah, but not because
they're
I like this article.
Place now.
The Project Popcorn, I think a lot of people in general just are never gonna not be angry about that, even though it was actually, in my opinion, the right decision. But hey,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's still. There's definitely still a lot of
because
hard.
look at the movies that got released. You think Matrix Revolution was going to cost them money? That was going to lose them money. The best movie that they had, that they thought they had at their disposal, was Tenet. Tenet cost them $52 million.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun talking about that a few ago.
So you're looking at a lot of the movies that were released on that slate, weren't all that great to begin with, and then the ones that were good made their money. Godzilla vs. Kong had no problem making money.
Yeah, it was probably the biggest success story out of all that.
Yeah, because it was one of the only good movies there. Hey, how you doing,
buddy?
Okay.
Yeah, because we saw that
Time
post
out. Time out. Keep your mind on that, and make sure you marketplace.
Santa! Oh my God! You want me to pull up
First
that post you did?
Yeah, go ahead, but fuck Elf.
Okay, we'll take this down real quick, and then we'll go back in a minute.
We'll go back to that because I'm at Home Depot looking at this thing, and it's creepy as all fuck.
Yeah, by the way, can you kind of lay out for everybody because
those are Christmas decorations at.
No, I mean like your affiliate because you used to work at Home Depot, or you still?
Oh, I do. I'm 27 years. 27 years.
So how's that work with the Sci-Fi Center?
I am too cheap and greedy to leave. I have an employee, and he runs it during what I call the dead days because the business is geared up towards, like I said, 84% of all my revenue comes in on Fridays and Saturdays. And Sundays.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of wondering because I knew you. I was like, how do you balance that?
I don't sleep anyway, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean
we see where hours where I'm up and around. That
is true.
So I'm pretty much a vampire. But yeah, they had those decorations there, and they move and they talk.
Did you have to help put these out?
No, I was just there. That's actually not even the one I'm at. This is a different one.
Oh shit! It's not even coming up all the way. Let me see if I can. What the hell? It's not even. Okay, here it goes. Yeah, here. Just there it goes. There's Buddy the elf.
So yeah, look at that.
It's like Smiley's my favorite.
And look at the eyes on it. Look like something that's supposed to be in a horror movie that's supposed to come after you.
Yeah, I poked a little bit fun of William in this, but I agree. This is not like a good facsimile of Will Ferrell.
and the movie's stupid too.
No,
so
the movie's a Christmas classic.
It's not a Christmas classic.
Yes,
it's a Christmas embarrassment.
Oh no,
Christmas embarrassment. We showed that when I was deployed. I think we were deployed or on AT. I know I was with military people. We were watching like It's a Wonderful Life and Christmas Story.
Hell?
Somebody bought this movie up, and so we were forced to watch this absolute fucking trash.
No, it is a Christmas classic, and I will go on record saying it's the last
stupid,
genuinely good movie that Will Ferrell did.
Listen. He's okay. I can watch him in short stints on Saturday Night Live. I cannot sit through a movie with him in it. I think he's horrible.
I think he generally works best as like a supporting role.
I mean, Land of the Lost. I'm like, as soon as I knew he was casted in, I know, okay, this is what kind of movie. He's just horrible. I mean, he's like, come on. And this movie was completely stupid. I'm looking at the rest of the people who picked this. I'm like, we're going to endure this. Can I turn this now? Can we go ahead and put on?
I love Elf. God, you were such a Scrooge, man.
Stupid ass movie. No, I like Christmas movies. Ones that don't suck. This movie sucks.
This one doesn't suck. Step Brothers. That is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, Drogo. Okay, so maybe I'll modify that. By the way, Drogo, the Snyderverse will be restored in live action. I'm saying that every time.
My movie is not stupid. No, your movie is fucking stupid.
No, Will Ferrell. No, really. No, listen. I will not defend the bulk of his filmography. Okay, because
how can you defend any of it?
He has made some terrible movies.
Oh, terrible, dude.
Like what was one he did? No, one of the worst ones I've ever seen. Yes, it was Droga. One of the worst ones I've ever seen. and this is like during Christmas 2018. Remember that like really crowded Christmas where you had Aquaman and Mary Poppins and what else came out? During that window, like it had like 7 because they didn't have a Star Wars movie coming out that year. So like everybody just ran to Christmas that year. Of course, Aquaman, it was the big champion of that. But they also put out Step Brothers, and I remember like it was like getting like these widespread reports of, and it came out Christmas Day by the way that year. It was getting like widespread reports of people walking out, and I saw that New Year's Day 2019 because it was just like out of more of a curiosity because I didn't have any like particular interest in it, but I just went in like thinking, could it really be this bad? Is it being bad? Yes, it is. It is this bad. It is one of the worst movies I've seen in years. I don't think anything I've seen since
Yes.
Holmes and Watson. Nothing I've seen since has been as bad. Oh man. But anyway, yes, this is Buddy. Let me pull up some of the.
No. I thought you were going to pull up scenes from the movie. I'm like,
you see the thing with his eyes are the worst part because his eyes look like just so dead inside. He's so soulless. He's like a.
Look at that, and then it talks and moves. I'm like, what
does he quote from the movie or something?
I think so.
Oh God, that is.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you have your sound.
Candy corns, syrup.
Of all the movies.
The greatest. Yeah, I'm a cotton-headed nitty mug. Yeah, and that's what you are, William. For not liking this movie, you are a cotton-headed nitty muggins.
Absolute heart garbage. Out of all the movies, all the Christmas movies that you could make an animatronic life-size thing of, you picked that piece of shit.
Well,
you couldn't get Ralphie? You couldn't get Ralphie?
You heard it here, folks, everybody. William Powell is a cotton-headed nitty muggins.
Well, you couldn't get Ralphie? Dude, you could have got George from It's a Wonderful Life and Mr. Potts, anything but that. Not only did you get something from
that statue's pretty bad though.
quite possibly one of the dumbest movies.
I'll get like the Grinch. Get the Grinch.
Could have got the Grinch. One of the dumbest movies, no matter holiday or not. That's what you made an animatronic life-size thing of? That's kind of sad.
No.
It's creepy.
It's a Christmas concert.
Get it off.
Yeah, music. That statue is. Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, I guess it's fitting because we are in Halloween time, so we got the Halloween Christmas blend these days. So
awful movie, and then just like the only way you could make that movie worse is by coming up with something like this.
And how's it going, Aaron? And by the way, Aaron, I saw your tag earlier with the martial arts kid, and I shared with Aaron. I interviewed Don the Dragon Wilson for that a few years ago. So that was yes, Aaron. Simpatico. She's my sister, guys. She gets it. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go back to the article now.
Yeah, go back to the article.
Horribly creepy, whatever the hell that is off the screen.
Consistent with the movie that it came from.
Oh, the hell it is.
That is exactly what you should expect from that movie.
William is such a cotton-headed nitty muggins. Okay, but anyway, go back to this now. So I read the bold part. So most of their 2020 films. One films failed to make much money in theaters, and the streaming games were not nearly as material. Okay, so I'm sure you take issue with that part.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, we were talking about, some of the movies that were released, people weren't going to see, especially during that time. Dune 2 exists because of those streaming numbers, not because of the box office numbers. Dune 2, if they hadn't done that with Dune 2, half of the people who went and saw Dune 2 would have never seen it, and you would have not have gotten. Or Dune 2.
I think because Dune. I think probably also. Go ahead. Well, I was going to say. I think probably Mortal Kombat 2 was greenlit more so on its HBO Max performance than the box office.
Yeah, but when you're talking about like some of these movies, they just they weren't gonna if they released them in the series, you would have had like 10 tenets. So yeah, I think that's a little bit of a. I just think you got a lot of cinephile people who really, really will do to their dying day, want that theatrical experience for everybody when the business sometimes says no. COVID was a unique circumstances. We were all watching, we were all sitting home watching streaming. None of us were going to the movies, and it took quite a while for that to even happen.
That's something I've been thinking about too in relation to Joker too, because I thought I'd get your thoughts on it. Like how now obviously the 5-year gap from movie 1 to movie 2, I mean, there's a whole confluence of factors, but I mean, with us living in a post-COVID world now, like how much do you think this also could be attributed to the fact that just the theatrical apparatus, business-wise, is just not what it was when the first Joker came out.
That, and like once again, Joker came out in 2019. You didn't have the option of streaming if you didn't like something, and you were
this
more
thing's gonna
apt
be on stream by Halloween now.
Yeah, you were more apt to go see movies and form your own opinion because it was either that or you had to wait 6, 7, 8 months for it to come on Blu-ray or whatever. This time, if you get the inkling that it's not 100% what you think or you want it to be, streaming is just a much it's going to be on streaming soon enough. So I don't know. I still think it could have. I don't think Joker. Any of the things that most of the people that are brought up, even in better articles like this one, have really nailed it because it was the story, it was the script. Joker 2 Folie à Deux failed because it would not even the musical wasn't what sunk it, or in my opinion, it's the story. It is the natural. You set up something and you didn't really follow through to its natural progression. Otherwise, we're not stuck in Arkham for the entire movie except for a couple of court scenes.
Warner Brothers making a DC movie doesn't follow through its natural progression. Where? What world do we live
in?
But
that's not Warner Brothers though. That's Todd Phillips. Now you can blame
Warner
Brothers. You can blame Warner Brothers for not saying, we don't think this is going to work. But then again, if he walks, and if he walks, Joaquin Phoenix walks.
Yeah, exactly.
So the order of precedence is right. Right within those guys. If Joaquin Phoenix. If Joaquin Phoenix walks and has that kind of attitude about it, and there's really nothing much they could do other than to not make this movie.
Yeah, and fourth, I mean, there's been so much commentary on this. This is lower than the opening weekend of Morbius. I mean, this is like, there's no other way to paint this. This is a disaster, like upon a disaster.
And it's a better movie than Morbius, by the way.
Yes, yeah. Too. Well, I didn't even hate Morbius, but I mean, it's like
I didn't. Everybody thought that was the Antichrist of movies. I'm like,
yeah. So go back to this now. David Zaslav was brought in as CEO following a merger with Discovery, and he had much to fix and much debt to deal with. He still has. Many of the decisions that have come from this new regime have been unpopular, including the rebranding of HBO Max to Max. That's true.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yes, it was stupid. And cancellation of various film projects. That was also continues to be controversial.
I'm going to give him a pass on that because once again.
Well, I'm not talking about strictly. Yeah. I'm not talking about strictly Batgirl or Wonder Twins there.
No, I'm talking about Scoob and all the other dumb shit that should have never been. Not dumb shit as far as but dumb ideas as far as where you're at financially as a company. You can't greenlight $70 million plus cartoons when you're losing money on animation for 2 decades now. You can't do that and then wonder why you're in debt.
However, Zaslav's new authority did also come with a major pivot from streaming to theatrical releases, which appears to be the trend of the entire industry. Because I'm sure you have a caveat to that.
Well, once again, I mean, the way they've handled it. Listen, the streaming is not going back in the bottle. It's not. It is a large part of the revenue that these studios make. What they're doing right now is obviously they're going to conventions and conferences and lying to people saying that we're right behind you. When you turn around, they're not going to be there. So these movies, he's the one that has come onto this a lot later than a lot of other people have. And he's also held a public persona that he's not doing it when he is. There's just no way you can exist in this, environment and not do it.
So continuing from that, this brought a mandate to exploit more of the studio's established intellectual property for major theatrical releases. Following this, it appeared that quality became less of a priority than the major release of films with some kind of recognition. After the incredible success of the first film, this seemed like it would be a home run. That's true. However, this was not what ended up being the case. That is also true, raising questions about the points about in the process that those not directly involved with the project should have altered its course. And that's pretty much what we were saying earlier on.
Yeah.
And now
somebody had to say no.
Well, not even say no to the whole movie, just say no to and not even say no, but it's but just let's sit down and you're on. This is a good starting point, but it's let's streamline this. It's this is we think this taking us in the wrong direction. Let's kind of meet in the middle on this. I mean, that's what a healthy director-producer relationship should be.
Yeah, they really should have like I said, if he said this is not the movie I want to make, then now they have a decision to go a different path or don't go no path at all. If you don't think you can do it with Joaquin Phoenix, then don't do the movie. If Todd Phillip walks because you give him these parameters and he said no, that's not the movie I want to make, then just don't make this movie. Unless you want to go ahead and take the risk of saying, you know what, Joker was mass hysteria type situation. Here's a new Joker, which is what they end up doing. But once again, they in their opinion, Joaquin Phoenix was the draw of that movie. Obviously, he was Academy Award winner for it, and he wanted that director. So they were kind of like pigeon-toed into, once they said that they wanted a sequel, they gave up a lot of their control as far as if they want to keep these two individuals, they had to give him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to. The problem is whenever you give a director is one part of the process. You got a lot of other people, a lot of other oversight that are there for a reason. And now you understand, for anybody, like when you're rolling those credits and you see all those people in the fine print, you understand now why those people are there. It's not just the director making the movie. The director's an employee.
Especially when you see like the director is one person and the writer or writers are different people. So which is, I mean, sometimes, the writer and director are the same, on that, but, not the case in Joker. Or at least I think not the case. I need to look at the credits again.
He wrote it
now
too,
going and on that note, going to Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips has to keep responsibility for Joker 2 as his director. The Hangover director has poor track record sequels. Yeah, he's kind of hit and miss for me, Todd Phillips, because I have liked a lot of his previous work. It's like like The Hangover.
He's mostly missed for me.
Yeah, The Hangover. It's like it's interesting because it's like I always say, it's like The Hangover. It's like I cracked up so much at the time in the theater, but I also kind of use that when I talk about, like, because I was 22 when that came out, so I was still in college and not that far ahead. So when I talk about like my interest, my perspective on comedy or my sense of humor having evolved in the years since, I kind of use that point to The Hangover, and I say it's like, The Hangover is an example where I say it's like I liked it a lot at the time. But if you make that same movie and release it today, where I'm at now, mentally, my life, everything, how much I've changed as a person since when it initially came out. That same movie comes out today, I don't know if I'd be a big fan of it. And that's not to say I'm renouncing my feelings on it at the time, but it kind of put in perspective the idea that these things are not, your feelings on storytelling are not necessarily formed in a vacuum. So then, on The Hangover, Road Trip. I remember Road Trip was I think that was his retro debut, actually, and that was when Tom Green was like kind of a thing for a while. That one has not aged well. Definitely has not aged well. The Hangover sequels, I didn't like them. Due Date, I thought wasn't bad. That was the one he did with Robert Downey Jr. And then what else has he done? Look at his Wikipedia real quick. I think I listed off most.
I have one Todd Phillips movie that is a go-to for me, and that's Joker. The rest of his stuff is like, nah.
Do you think? And by the way, I mean, I think we can infer probably pretty reasonably, and pairing like what we see in this movie and kind of like stuff he said about like during the making of the first one, where he said it's like we could sneak like a quote unquote real movie into the studio system under the guise of a combo movie, and the fact that they begged him to take on the DC Studios gig and he turned him down, and he said after this, it's like, this is my run with DC is 2 Joker movies. I don't think it's unreasonable to infer from that he's not a big comic book guy.
Nah, and you don't really have to be a comic book guy to make a comic book movie. Most people aren't. James Gunn is the first one. Kevin Feige wasn't a comic book guy when he started making comic book movies. He was a movie maker. So that part of it, and like I said, Matt Reeves. I mean, you watch the stuff he's done. Watch the Batman, and you watch the things he's overseeing. Those are stories. Period. That now that you wrap them around a comic book character, but even if he wasn't a comic book guy, I mean, you could still do a good job at it. Like I said, he just went a lot. If you watch Joker, you have there is a natural progression that the story should have taken, and it just didn't. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. So now going and reading this section. Todd Phillips has worked in Hollywood for decades. During this time, the filmmaker has made a number of excellent films, from Old School, which I have not seen, to Due Date to The Hangover. The filmmaker has clearly established himself as having a good hand with comedy, but also telling compelling original stories that resonate with mass audiences. While the first Joker was a step away from his comedy roots and more akin to the poorly received War Dogs on his resume, I have seen that. Yeah, it was okay. The film worked. The first film's success, following the first film's success, it was maybe it's since the studio wished for another. However, it seemed this was an inherent challenge given the initial movie was seemingly created without any intention of a follow-up installment. Carrying a $20 million payday to explore his own world would be an exciting proposition for any filmmaker, but it's also one that carries some key risks with it, which in this case appear to have not paid off in terms of critical reception. Unfortunately, Phillips, who wrote the new film, okay, so he was a co-writer on it, alongside Scott Silver, has not had much success with sequels, and this should have been a hint for everyone involved that the sequel may not turn out well. The director's Hangover sequels are both poorly received critically, and each had diminishing returns at the box office. It seems that Phillips' best work is when he is exploring original stories rather than returning to IP, even if it is IP the filmmaker himself generated. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good breakdown on Todd Phillips' role in the whole thing. And now Joaquin Phoenix, which is like, yeah, there's definitely been some commentary on kind of his part in it all, but we'll go and read this. Joaquin Phoenix is reportedly is the reason Joker began being made. The actor has recently faced some controversy. The Hollywood Reporter wrote an extensive piece on Joker 2's failure, ending with the assertion that when asked who the intended audience was, one outside source sums it up this way for Joaquin. It is not quite clear what outside source they're referring to, although it seems to suggest that Joaquin Phoenix is in large part to blame for the film being made. As the heart and soul of the first film and its main character, it's clear there's some reasoning as to why some would state this is the case. Certainly no sequel would have been made without Phoenix signing on to play the lead role once again. The iconoclastic actor was an instrumental part of getting the film's production and the direction of the film. Speaking with ABC News in 2019, I've seen that in an interview. It's like it's Joaquin Phoenix. He's a little bit out there. Yeah. In 2019, the actor said, "I can't stop thinking about it. If there's something else we could do with Joker, that might be interesting. This began as the idea for a Broadway show, but evolved into the resulting film. With such an interesting figure as its star, the film had to be something original and interesting to entice him back. Some of the film's positive reviews celebrated Joker 2's originality, and these unusual features may have been instrumental in getting the actor to return to the role for Arthur Fleck. Unfortunately, that did not result in a film that connected with audiences, with Joker 2 often being referred to as more of an art film than a comic blockbuster." Well, I mean, to be fair, I think you could probably say that about the first one, too.
Yeah, they were both art films.
And now I think this is the last section. Oh, damn it, freeze up on me. Oh, no, we got a couple more sections. Just see how much more of the article we have. Joker 2's marketing can be considered responsible for its reception. The marketing, I
do agree.
Yeah, and I remember they started marketing this thing like 2 years. I mean, they started with like that motion poster that had Arthur and Harley on it before they even started filming the thing. So they set the ball rolling very early for this marketing.
But then they stopped the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
The whole program pretty much, as far as like promotion goes, was more of a witness protection program than it was something you actually wanted people to go out and see.
I think also, and I do think this is a fair question to ask, because James Gunn and Peter Safran, they've kind of gone out of their way to sort of distance themselves from it. And they, DC Studios didn't do any promotion for it's not these have DC Studios logo. They didn't do any press for it. They've said, yeah, this was in motion before we came aboard. But if you're the captain of the ship of this, this studio with this IP, I don't think it's unreasonable for people. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect like even if you're coming in post merger, like you do take some ownership of this, or you do take some leadership of this. Maybe it's better. Maybe this is a better way to put it.
There was nothing they could do for that movie or do with that movie.
When I say ownership, I'm not talking about like them, like what he did with like the Superman, Christopher Reeve documentary. I'm talking about though, it's like this is still under your roof, so it's like this is not something you should just not market.
Oh, Florida. Well, no, because it was Warner Brothers Pictures' job to market it. Even though they slapped DC Studios, all the marketing direction came from Warner Brothers Pictures because it was already in motion before there was even the DC Studios. So you have to, yeah, that's on them. And like I said, I don't know. We didn't get any screenings out here. They did some fan screenings, but it was the week of.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't do that. I mean, not that it probably wouldn't matter much in the end, in hindsight, but again,
Well, I
the
don't
fact they
think they
didn't
had a
even
lot of
try.
faith in the movie. I think that once they saw their finished product, they didn't know how to market the movie. This wasn't an easy movie to market it because once you made the announcement that it was a musical, you really tie your hands and feet as how you're going to market that because a lot of people hear musical. A lot of people, not all people, but a lot of people hear musical, and that's it. They're not going to go see it.
No, and as Vince says right here, come up there. Vast majority of people are not into musicals, and they made an exception for Hamilton, which is fantastic. Yeah, not my thing.
That's a once in a generational situation.
Exactly what Joker 2 was intended to be was hard to be sure of until the film was released. While the film was described as a musical by the director, Lady Gaga somewhat contradicted this. Though the first trailer provided some exciting imagery, it also did a poor job informing audiences on what to actually expect from the somewhat necessary sequel. Some interesting visuals and suggestion of musical elements provided more confusion than engagement for the public. The film was a blend of drama with elements of jukebox musicals and doesn't seem to have worked for most audiences. With this in mind, it appears that the issues of Joker 2's marketing may have been twofold, with it putting those who felt it didn't sufficiently resemble the original film off, but still leaving others confused about the movie and thus less likely to enjoy it if they didn't indeed see the sequel. Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on.
Okay, I think we got enough out of that. Yeah, ultimately, I hold Warner Brothers Pictures, Todd Phillips, and Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, but if you want to use the word blame, but like I said, they made their decisions, so it's not like they made dudes was my car. They just made a movie that didn't connect with people, and that's not a crime. Hopefully, this is the last part of Quinn. Her involvement devalues the Joker.
I don't even know. Well, good.
Okay. The abuse angle with Harley Quinn is not the only angle between her and the Joker, though. See, I don't agree that has to be the core of every story or any story.
And this goes to another, I think, issue with the movies. Now, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, I mean, he's definitely a reimagining of the character, but I don't get it like a Harley Quinn like vibe at all from Lady Gaga's character in the movie. I mean, she doesn't read to me as like a reimagined Harley Quinn or like any kind of like.
Because we tie it to versions of the character that we like. Because if you read Black Label, Harleen, she's the abuser in most cases. So it's it all depends on who's writing the character. People have an interpretation of Harley Quinn, which is not an old character by any means. It's like less than 35-year-old character. Not even that. It's barely 30 years old as far as the character. That character is still in its infancy as far as what it will mean. And it's been in the hands of different people who've done different things with it. You can cover the abusive relationship if you want to, but you don't have to make a good Harley story. You don't even have to touch that to make a good Harley story. You can do that in a flashback. It's just like you don't have to start out with the radioactive Spider-Man biting Peter Parker to have a good Spider-Man story. I don't. So I thanks for the super chat. I just don't agree with that needs to be the core aspect of the character all the time, depending on where you are picking up the character. If you are telling the origin story and a breakup story, but I can agree with it in that the one thing I can't agree with you for is for that the Birds of Prey garbage. That now you're telling a breakup story. Why are you breaking up? So is there a nature there? But even then, you don't necessarily have to. It's not a must in my opinion. That's just me. Thanks for the support.
Let's see. Aaron real quick says Amber Mid Thunder is yeah, I saw that. I'm really she's it's really cool. She's breaking out as much because I really loved her in Prey, and see her again as Princess Yue and Avatar on Netflix. So she's really on the come up, and that's pretty cool to see. So see her enter the MonsterVerse now. Fourth, that's another super chat, but they always skip the Harley abuse. We always get Harley Quinn outside her traditional abuse in the Joker as a star. She's not interesting.
No. Once again, thanks for the support. I've read enough Harley stories. That doesn't necessarily need to be. That doesn't. You can do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't sink a good Harley Quinn story. Because if you'd have gone on beyond Suicide Squad, and if you'd have made that connection to what they were doing in the Nightmare, that probably, you can display a toxic relationship. Is that what you're saying? Like the love-hate? because even after the abuse, she's still in a relationship with him, and she keeps coming back to him and saying, I mean, so it all depends on how you want to frame that, and it also depends on who your audience is. If you're not, if you know, it's not, Harley Quinn has a wide audience where certain storylines click and certain ones do not. So, like you said, you got to let the storyteller tell the story. I don't think that aspect hurts it unless you've based your story on it. If you've based your story on the abusive relationship, then yeah, you need it. But if you don't, she's just become an icon at that point. You know, she can do other things. I thought the Lady Gaga, I didn't have any problems with the Lady Gaga interpretation. For me, I felt that she was Harley Quinn. I didn't think we had enough, though. That's the problem. Is she's a major part of the movie, and she's not in it enough. That's my only problem with the Lady Gaga's perception of it.
Yeah.
Because chaos, Harley is chaos. And you can depending on who's writing, see, that's Todd Phillips' story. He could have her being the abuser if he wanted to. It's about an abusive relationship. So,
okay, well, so now I think we've kind of broken down a lot of the reasoning behind, or speculation, or theorizing about why the movie tanked so hard. But I think also, kind of what I was alluding to earlier, it's like maybe you look at this like in the larger context of the state of the studio, and like I'd say, I know she's not, she's very love or hate for a lot of people, but I did pull up one of Grace Randolph's streams earlier today, and she was talking about.
We go from one person I don't ever want to hear to a person I really work hard to not hear. Okay.
Well, she was. I mean, one thing she mentioned on there is like she was talking about like she mentioned like what we talk about here a lot is the stock. It just keeps going down the toilet.
Isn't it up lately?
Nope, it is down to 772.
Oh, I thought it was up a little bit.
Yeah. What kind of odds at this point? Because that the guys you were saying who said, oh, it might go up before the year's out. What kind of odds did you get?
Well, I said then I didn't think it would, because remember that same article that we were talking about, that there was a bunch of reasons that they tailed in at the end of that article that reasons were realistic while they weren't. There's just nowhere to bring in the money. And like I said, and I hate to keep kicking a dead horse when I think follow Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder is generating revenue.
Big time, man.
Scott Snyder is generating. Yeah, well, it's only for comics. I'm like, that's fine, but he's generating revenue. If you're in the film portion or the motion the TV portion of DC, you got to look at that, and you have to be able to generate the excitement of that. And they're just not generating revenue, and there's too much home run attitude that, well, what about Superman? Once Superman comes out, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll be in a good. I'm like, you're hoping for some shit that's 6 months down the line. That's no way to build the faith and revenue. That's the problem, So when they said, well, it could break $10 or $11, I'm like, well, where's the money coming from that would make somebody investing in it? Well, why would I put my money into your company when it doesn't look like your company can generate money so I can make a return on it? So
yeah, and like you said, it's like so much the attitude in the last several years has been, it's like, oh, this movie is going to do it. It's like, oh, now now the Suicide's going to do it. Now Black Adam's going to do it. Now the Flash is going to do it. Now this,
putting undue pressure on those movies.
And it's just, you do that over and over, it just snowballs so much. and now we get to James Gunn's Superman. It's like the pressure is like, as a lot of people, the commentary says, oh, the pressure is like, it's like it skyrocketed on that now.
Yeah, you shouldn't. No one movie should be this has to save DC. Like, no.
To what you're saying about Scott Snyder, he's taking more of like a spread the wealth kind of thing, in terms of like, let's create like a whole like canvas for people to kind of like choose like which corner of this this IP and this multiverse they can really most sink their teeth into
without using the word multiverse. If you notice,
or else
and it's what he's created is a composite else world. But what he's doing is he's explaining. What he's doing. Forget about the actual story itself. I do like the fact that we have somebody who's creating something and not in the ashes of something else. But he's excited about it. He's done an excellent communication job in he's getting everybody, the dealers involved in it. He's getting the distributors involved in it. He's getting everybody at every level that this is going to need to be successful is excited about it. And that's not happening with the DCU. If you go look at Scott Snyder's Twitter page, You look at how he engages. Look at the kind of energy and information that he's spreading versus what everything else DC's done. HBO with Max and the Penguin, yeah, it's a great show, but you know what? It's almost once you say that I'm going to put this show on HBO Max, a lot of your work is done because you cannot come into that with some half-ass bullshit. You now have put yourself in a position where if you put it on HBO Max on Sunday or HBO on Sunday, you cannot put anything in there that is not at least at the standard of everything else that has come there. So by that virtue, even though Matt, they've done a great job no matter what, the fact that they had to go into a slot where people are already like, you know what? I don't even watch comic book shit, but you're on 9 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m., whatever. You're in that slot. You're in the Sopranos slot. You're in the 6 Feet Under slot. You're in the Game of Thrones slot. You're in the House of the Dragon slot. You're in the Last of Us slot. So you have to be minimum at that level. Otherwise, you're going to get laughed off the screen. So everything else, though, with that they've done, it's been, the information, where's the excitement being built at? Like I said with Fantastic Four, they came out with stuff 1 year before, 1 year before the movie releases. They were at Comic-Con with the flying car, with all the actors, with, and this is before they filmed the film. They're getting people excited about these things. Scott Snyder's doing the same thing. That's why I say follow that model about anything you do. Doesn't matter what it is. Are you excited about it? Are you generally acting like you're excited about it? If so, everywhere you go, that energy bleeds out. The people under you, the people who are buying it, they're all look at how that's trending. That's how all of DC should be trending. But you know what? Like I said,
before we get any further into that, there is somebody offering a suggestion. All these problems in the chat, and there's how many flops does WWE need until they realize a Bird movie will serve the DCU?
I'm gonna do my best not to respond to it because I'm really trying to stay on topic and not add minutes.
No, but listen, we did get some. Now, I don't take a lot of stock in that. Bane and Deathstroke.
Yeah, I don't think that movie's happening.
Yeah, that really felt like it. It really harkened back to me for like a lot of during the Hamada era, where we just got like news of like Wonder Twins, Plastic Man. This, that.
Well, they were gonna do those though. I don't think.
But there was also a ton of stuff they announced they just never made during that period. And
Bane and Deathstroke. It's a stupid idea, just on the face of it, because there's nothing to it. What are you doing? Where, what, how? You don't. Nothing that you've laid out in your DCU slate calls for it. What are you doing? I mean, you don't. You're going to announce that movie before you have your Batman thing together.
That's another thing that's fishy about it too. You're announcing Batman villains before you even cast a Batman. So
and who says James Gunn's even using Bane?
And by the way, also
or Deathstroke.
That's true. Yeah. Well, he's alluded to Deathstroke, but so there's at least some kind of paper trail on that. But another thing too, also as far as Batman goes, and this is another thing that plays in the dysfunction of the studio and just like more of like what we're saying about it's gonna take like another like I like Birds of Prey. It's not like top tier DC for me, but I enjoy it just as like a girl game.
It has a tier. It has a tier. Okay.
What was I saying to make? You made me lose your hair thought. Oh yeah. So John Campia, you may have seen earlier, was positing the question of like it was should the Matt Reeves Batman Penguin universe be folded into did you see that one?
Yes.
Yeah. So and that's my response to that is the same. It's like I think if you're looking for a way to get Matt Reeves to walk, that's a great way to do it.
Or if you're getting if you're trying to create a way to just make bad product, that's the way to do it. Why would you do that? One thing I don't listen. The one reason I don't like certain storylines and certain use of characters, because I don't believe that if it is your job to tell a story, that lazy is one of the tools that should be in your toolbox. That's lazy. That's just lazy. That's unimaginative. That's why would you do that? There's zero good reasons to do that. I couldn't think of one.
Yeah, well, but it kind of, and before I get further in that, fourth says we got to watch Party of Strange Darling. Yeah. I'm not familiar with that one, so you might need to fill me on that fourth. And also, hi, Ruth. Brad, hope you're both well. I hear the best way to spread Christmas cheer is he's quoting Elf there. I'm gonna read her. Yeah. I hear the best way to spread Christmas cheer is to sing loudly for all to hear.
Now, the movies that you just that rise up your blood pressure, Elf is on the dumb level of any scary movie that you could ever.
Not even close. Not even close.
It's literally, it comes from the same dumpster.
No,
right?
It doesn't come from the same dumpster. No. And by the way, listen, I made this joke too. Like, you watch the opening credits, Toby Emmerich's name is there, and I'm like,
well, he's a studio head, so
yeah. So, but putting aside all that baggage, but and by the way, Ruth, again, if you're feeling comfortable coming back on the panels by this weekend, really want to hear your thoughts on Terrifier 3.
Yeah, because
it's like Ruth's counting down the minutes. She cannot wait. And this is a particular big Terrifier because it's the one that takes place during Christmas. So, and by the way, that's another thing I've seen a lot of a commentary on is that the fact that because Joker 2 was dropping this month, so many other, as far as like tent poles, like they just really kind of every other studio just kind of really cleared the board because they thought this is gonna dominate October. So a lot of them got out of the way. So now this October is a little bit threadbare as far as blockbusters. But maybe we'll see what kind of happens with that. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, opening this bad, Joker 2 is like it is cooked at this point. And but kind of going back to what I was saying a minute ago with the Batman and the idea of like transplanting it into the DCU, and this is, I mean, it's the fact that keeps getting brought up. And if you have your ear to the ground,
by the way, guys, nobody serious is bringing that up.
Well, I mean, there have been people saying, if you have your ear to the ground enough, that idea has at least been somewhat entertained within the studio. I'm not saying that's a good thing.
It'll always be nameless, faithless sources that will never put a name on that. I don't believe anybody in the studio is that stupid.
Well, but going to that point, the fact there's still discussion about that, and now we have
that's fanboy bullshit.
I think also, it's like with Joker, with the movie doing so bad, it's like I think you can't discount. I don't think the fact that you have just years of the studio not knowing what to do with their most valuable IP, just snowballing on all these.
I don't think has anything to do with it.
All these blockbusters, they keep saying, okay, this one's going to be Babe Ruth. It's going to like hit the home run and win the game for us.
But who says that though? Those fans. That's boneheaded fans that say that shit. Boneheaded fans come up with stuff. People, like I said, say what you will about WB. I've never heard anybody ever say that they ever considered making Matt Reeves Batman anything but Matt Reeves thing.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the long-term effect of how badly they have managed the DC IP.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's another reason I think it plays into significantly so Joker 2's failures is that just catching up with them. And it's just becoming so inescapable for them now. And
here's the thing, though. That movie didn't. The majority of the people who went to go see that movie weren't people that were caught up in some of the stuff that we've had to experience as fans. Those weren't. Those are average Joes. Those are people who wouldn't know the Snyder Cut if I parted their head with it. So I can't really. I don't know if I can go along with that because literally the audience for Joker, the original Joker, and those type of movies are not the people that are affected by the studio's woes. Those are the kind of movies that they would do well no matter what. But there are other things and stuff that we know about that we talk about. That's a different thing. But the majority of the fans don't. They're not in our plight. They don't know about the disorganization of the studio. Like I said, when you talk to somebody who's gone to see Joker, like I said, most of the things that I get about it are the fact that the story wasn't consistent with Joker, what they loved about the first one.
Well, yeah, but you also don't know that until you see the movie.
Yeah, but the studio's turmoil is not going to have a lot to do with that, though. As far as like a perception, because what you're talking about is a perception issue. But most fans don't perceive that. Most people who will see Jokers will not perceive it in the same way we do because they're not even going to know what Zazoff could go give them a lap dance in the front row of Joker. They wouldn't know who he. They wouldn't know who he is. They wouldn't know who he is. They wouldn't know why he is. You know, we will know who he is. So our perception is a little bit different, but it's also the minority.
You guys,
I just think they just made a movie that just didn't connect. That's all.
You guys, you all have to agree. If there's one thing we all agree on the stream tonight, is that William comes up with the craziest analogies. Doesn't? But real quick, see Roots here. You guys are seeing. Yeah, I'm gonna try to see Friday night.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go see Friday. Friday is a big day for me because that'll be our first full day of DC after the DC. But I am gonna try to find a way to get it done. I don't think I'm gonna be on the Vox stream that night because of that. Because of I'll be going to see that movie because I think Boulevard is playing it. And that's right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, we kind of also said like we're probably gonna be a little bit more like a little bit more back and forth on our Vox stream appearances in the future because we're doing more stuff like
especially
Friday
for the month of October. Month of October.
So since I'm going on Monday as I've taken the day off. Just oh god, you really could possibly see that bloodbath twice in one day.
Yeah, something's up.
Oh yes, Aaron, I'm well aware. It's like now for the
that's Florida though.
Yeah, well, because the models are showing it's still fairly a good fair amount out to sea from my neck of the woods. So hope we're under tropical storm warning. So, and we're talking. They're telling us with like a lot of wind and like about an inch of rain. So, again, hopefully, I didn't think Helene would be as much a pain in the ass as it was, but that's it is what it is. But hopefully, again, this will be far enough out to sea that it's like okay, leave us alone. But I mean, still, the people in Florida, my heart goes out to them because they're just really getting walloped this month with all these hurricanes. Ford says I wish to it's 20 minutes shorter, but and the second one is 2 hours and 20. And see, that's why I say it's like if you tell me like which one is like is easier to stomach, as I'll say the first one because that's like 85 minutes. So it's like the second one is just I made the analogy of imagine like being in front of the elevator of The Shining with the blood coming out and you're like strapped to a chair and you can't get away from that. That's what it feels like watching Terrifier 2. It's just getting just engulfed in this just waterfall of blood. But yeah, I'm planning on seeing it Friday night and again but you were waiting a little bit longer than I thought you would, Ruth. You're waiting until Monday. But yes, we would love to hear your thoughts because we know you're very much looking forward to it. But anyway, going back to everything with Warner Brothers. So I think, like I said with Grace, I mentioned Grace Randolph, and she was talking about the stock price is still in the shitter, and she mentioned also like more talk about. I think this might have been a little bit more semi-speculative on her part, like the having to ear to the ground. But I mean, like it's out there, and this has been talked about publicly for quite a while now too. But there's more talk about another Sailor merger, and like I don't know. I mean, it's like again the fact that this stuff keeps happening. I mean, what kind of timeline do you think we're looking at as far as like you've said repeatedly that you've said
if it happens a year and a half.
Well, you're thinking also like they're really waiting for like the stock to like really get to like $5.
Yeah, because why? Because you're absorbing their debt. Unless you're one of the big ones we've mentioned, there's no reason for you to assume more debt than you're going to anyway.
Yeah. Well, then there's also, there's the other talk that's been mentioned about okay, now they're just going to start licensing out their IPs, which that's that's not even speculation now. That's been talked about publicly. So the studios is just in such a bad shape where it's, I don't. The thing you talked about, so this is like in Business Insider or what was it, where you said like there was speculation that it might actually hit double digits again, the stock price.
No, when we were reading that article that one day, I think it was an article. It was they were talking about the uptake of their stock. Certain analysts said they could finish strong 2024, but that it could reach that they were projected to possibly reach around $11. And then that was just one analyst. So the other analysts, I forgot when we were talking about. But we did have the article up, and the other guy down at the tail end of it, just brought up a whole bunch of other things that would stop that from happening. So, at the time it could have gone either way.
Do
But
they have any?
we're in October now, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Do they have any? Does Warner Brothers have anything? Any other big movies coming out this year? I'm gonna look this up real quick. See if they got any.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I think this as far as like tentpoles, this is probably like their last one of this year. But just like anything at all they're releasing for this year. At least take a look real quick at Wikipedia. See what's coming up. And when I say releasing, I mean theatrically, and because I know there's some stuff coming up on streaming, and there's of course stuff on broadcast television with Superman and Lois. But in terms of like the if we're talking about like stuff in the same boat as Joker 2, then I'm going in terms of like theatrical releases. It doesn't look like they got anything else dropping in theaters before the year is out, which is definitely not good as far as this outcome.
No, there's just not enough being made. There's just not enough. There's not enough diversity in what's being done as far as
their IP
goes.
They got some New Line stuff, which that's the sister studio, but again, that's not quite that's a little bit apples and oranges, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a different genre.
Yeah, I'm trying like
it's
lower
budget and lower yield too. You don't get as much money from that studio.
Yeah, let me look. I'm going to take another look through here real quick. I don't think there's anything else from Warner Brothers being released theatrically this year. So, and that does raise a question, like William's saying about the speculation the stock could go back up. It's like, well, where are you getting that money?
Well, like I said, where's the like I said, stock is basically the faith and belief that I can invest 5 and get 10 back from you, or I can invest and get 7 back. I can make money off of me supporting you. You use my money to operate the company. The company makes more money. The shares go up, and my shares are now worth something. But in order to do that, you have to be generating that, you have to be generating the revenue, because if you're not generating the revenue and you have debt, I don't see how it's going on. Their output, like I said, has just for the past 5 years just hasn't been good. Mm-hmm. What's come out hasn't been that good, and what's come out hasn't been the heavy hitting stuff. I mean, you can only live on the Batman for so long.
The Lord of the Rings, the animated movie, that's like New Line and Warner Bros. Animation, and it's distributed by New Line though. But Warner Bros. Animation.
That's not coming out this year though, is it?
No, it's coming out December 13th.
Of this year?
That's their final theatrical release this year. So other than that, you got what do we got?
Then they're going to be staying in single digits then, because that.
I agree. So and now. So how does like streaming and TV like impact your stock? Because I mean,
the revenue with your subscriber count, count and the revenue bought in. So if you have 100-something million subscribers and they're paying, that's your monthly revenue. That's your set revenue.
So the big thing DC wise with that is the Penguin right now is for is animation. I mean, Creature Commandos is coming up, but I mean, that's not going to light the world on fire as far as HBO Max subscriptions. I don't think a lot of people are expecting. I mean, and that's not to say it's not going to get views.
No, it's just it's not on that level. It's not on that. It's not on the Superman, Batman level. That's what they need.
Yeah, and then of course the only thing Superman they got right now is my show is Superman and Lois, and that's on a network that's pretty much folding after the show ends.
It's just not. I mean, like I said, and that's another thing. They have too many things like that didn't draw revenue, and now it's hurting you. So now you got a movie that's not going to draw revenue, and you have all these shows on the network that's not drawing revenue.
I mean, the only saving grace I could see as far as Joker and like everything you're saying with them is because this movie's going to be on streaming.
And I think that's where it'll make a good portion of its money.
What do you think? But I mean, it's like as far as like what that could do for like do you think that's going to like entice a lot of HBO Max subscribers who weren't already subscribers? Because I just renewed my subscription 2 weeks ago, so I'm already there.
Series are what for a lot of people. Series are what keep you subscribing. Right now we're right in the middle of we're talking about episode 4 of Joker,
Penguin,
of a Penguin, and you have when Game of Thrones comes out, it's you see your ebbs and flows when the series come and go. Yeah, some movies are there. But it's the series that are a big thing. Last of Us, things like that keep people going, because they're things that can be spread over 2 to 3 months and then lined up. If you do it right, after that run is over, then you got another thing coming on. So if you do things right, you can have you could have 3 continuous 8 to 10 episode series a year, and if you space them out properly, you would be able to keep your subscriber base, if not grow it.
Yeah. And so now another thing I was kind of thinking about too, because again, this plays in everything we're saying about Warner. Again, why we keep saying, it's like, listen, I mean, aside from our misgivings and suggestions, like look to Scott Snyder for like your template as far as like don't do one universe at a time. Pull in every audio segment of the audience you can. Both not just comics but also movie wise and TV wise. But also we had that report come out a month or two ago talking about like their quarter 3 earnings or something like that, where they had like that $50 billion or $10 billion write down, whatever it was. I mean, they really took a hit.
Yeah, that was when they had the $9 billion.
Yes,
it wasn't a write down. It was a misevaluation.
Yeah. So I'm kind of wondering now.
I got a different word for that, but I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I'm kind of wondering now. Okay, now one movie alone isn't going to like, tank you that hard, but I am kind of wondering, okay, are we going to see another report that devastating, and then before the year is out?
No.
Or early into next year.
They spent $200 million on it. They didn't do any advertising on it, so I don't know what the ad budget was on it. You made, you're probably going to make, by the time the theater runs, about $600 million. You put it on POD, you won't get all your money back, but it won't be a complete, oh my God, what do we do?
Yeah, but this is like just kind of one sort of cog in like the whole train wreck of the studio has become. That thought crossed my mind is like, is there going to be like what's like the next report that's going to outline, okay, here's how cheap the company that buys it next is going to get it for.
Well, that's up to a stock analyst though. That's not, there's no one real report. It's just trends. It's where your stock is trending, how long your stock is staying at this amount. Are you pulling in revenue? Because if you're pulling in revenue, you need to make those reports public, because that's how the public is like, okay, I'm going to buy stock.
And as you said, like, where the hell are they pulling in revenue for the rest of this calendar year?
And they set themselves up, and this is where the whole James Gunn thing kind of bothers me, is you can't just put all your eggs in that basket and then hope that brings you across the finish line. Even if it is successful, it's not going to be enough. You need to be doing things on so many different levels, especially with your brands, your IPs like this. You need to be making money on so many different. That's why I don't think there's a lot of projects that, in my opinion, should be happening, should be out there, or should have been out there, that can make you that kind of money. But like I said, they've gone with the one thing. Batman is money. Batman draws revenue. Any Batman project you put on a big screen draws minimum $400 million in the modern era. Why are we not doing more? Why am I waiting for the Batman? Get me something out there with the bat on it, pulling that money.
Antonio says Creature Commandos will increase subscription numbers. I think it's going to be, well, it's not a matter of like whether people like it or not. It's a matter, it's kind of like what William says. It's like with the logic of just make a good movie. Well, it's like, which first of all, it implies that anybody sets out to make a bad one in the first place. Yeah. But make a good movie or make a good show. That's like what, maybe a third of or a quarter of like the whole, business model of it.
There's a lot of good movies that filmed this year.
Yeah. There's tons of other. I they go to my shelf sometimes. There's tons of things I got on my shelf. Ghana Path, the Bollywood, martial arts flick I keep harping about. That God, I want to know when it's going to be on streaming or physical media. That not just on YouTube. It's like that bombed. It's like I love that, but it didn't do well theatrically. But it's not a matter of. The correlation of like quality to revenue is, there's tons of things that are just total shit that do fantastic. So it's not just a matter of just make something good, because everybody sets out to make something good in the first place. But it's a more complicated science than just make a good movie or make a good show. And Fort's got kind of a conflicting view here. I feel Creature Commandos go on Sun like Kite Man animated shows no one talked about. I think it could go either way with Creature Commandos as far as like I'm going
to give it a try. It looks decent enough, but that's not going to generate the kind of excitement, about anything that
my big DC thing right now is Superman and Lois.
Yeah, and that's not going to generate You need heavy hitting stuff that's going to generate. It either needs to be something that's on Max or it needs to be something that's on the big screen right now, or something going on in comics. But once again, there's the comics, the percentage, the volume that you can make in comics, you can make some decent money. But when you're an entire studio, you need more, so you need to adapt certain things. Like I said, it's just I don't know. I don't know how to. There's really no way to explain it anymore, other than the fact that it's just that the brand doesn't have any momentum right now, and whatever momentum you're trying to get is theatrically it's coming from something that doesn't come out until July, and that may or may not be well accepted. So I don't really think about it in that regard.
Well, and that's something I'm kind of. Do you think they have any kind of backup plan too? Within the because Zaslav, he strikes me as like he's really like this. He's gun is his gold is his he's chose him as his cash cow, as his golden goose. So with how this, because I mean I don't, even if they weren't like putting a lot
I
of
think
faith
they'll
in
reinvest in the Reeveverse. If they don't perceive as the James Gunn thing taken off, I think they might divert resources to Matt Reeves stuff and expand that.
Yeah, because that's something. I mean, I even if they didn't have a lot of faith in Joker 2, I don't think they were expecting it to tank this bad. So
and you weren't gonna get anything more out of this anyway.
Yeah. Well, especially if you've seen how it ends.
Yeah, even I don't think you need a third one, but hey.
Yeah, so but that thought across the line is like, do they have like a contingency plan? And you've even said on here, it's like, I mean, I think the timeline you gave was like, in a year and a half, you're expecting them to start just licensing it out, their stuff out to other people. Just we write
that I think they need to do no matter what.
Yeah,
I think they need to do that no matter what, because it's money. So if it's
money they don't have liability on.
Yeah, if you're Amazon and you decide that you want to take one of DC's IPs and you want to do your own thing with it and within certain parameters and certain rules, and you give $250 million, or you give whatever for a certain amount of time, that's profit. That's 100% profit right there. You didn't have to spend a dime to make that profit. Now, as a distributor and owner of the IP, you sell whatever branches off from that, like revenue, like merchandise, anything else, you keep that. So now you've added. So now something that you do for $250 million can end up being $340 million. So guess what? Your baseline Batman movie is going to make that much. Now you have to spend money to get that 450 or that 700. You have to spend 200 to get to 4. So you're coming out ahead 5. If you're doing, licensing deals, you're getting 300 with action figures, toys, t-shirts, everything else, Blu-ray if it comes out. You're getting 300, 400 million, and you're spending very little. That's what needs to happen 3 or 4 times a year with those guys.
Yeah, I agree. So that's
I don't know if they'll do it.
Well, I mean, I guess like if the situation gets bad enough, I mean, they might start having no choice. And they're well on their way there. I highly doubt it. So, what? Oh, Vince, did you see how the movie ends? Have we talked about spoilers on about? I think we have.
About what?
About how Joker 2 ends. Like he says, I don't think he'll see this. Well,
yeah, I thought we spoiled it on.
Yeah, yeah, with or without the movie bombing, it's like you weren't gonna see this Joker again. They kind of built that into the story. There was a work of art music video for them. God, it was, and it's just painted in blood. I'm sure it's just an absolute no, it's the example I use because I'm saying it's like it's something that I think is very good, but that did not perform theatrically. But it's I mean that's a universal thing where it's like good does not immediately equal box office success. So the idea of like just make a good movie, it's again,
I mean we've gone down the list of movies this year that have been that were good. Transformers 1, for everyone I sent to Transformers 1, love Transformers 1. It's not going to make the money.
I dug Flash last year, didn't do well.
I mean, there was a lot of other situations with Flash though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
the uncontroversial ones that didn't have anything attached to them, as far as like a bad taste in people's mouth. There's a lot of movies out there that didn't really that didn't really make. If was another movie. If Imaginary Friend, that was a lauded movie, and it didn't really make that much money.
What,
So.
I'm trying to think what else. Like, what I'm trying to think. Like, what are some of my favorite bombs?
Well, Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Blade Runner.
Well, and that's another thing too. Is like something even if it bombs, like that doesn't mean it's going to not have longevity. I mean, things bomb all the time. Like 10 years later, people look back like, oh, this thing like developed. I mean, like Big Trouble in China is a good example of that. Hocus Pocus.
That's not a good example, but sure,
it's a very good example of that. Hocus Pocus is. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seeing all the Hocus Pocus, paraphernalia right now because Disney made the stupid decision to put that out in July in '93.
Fight Club's problem, it was too long. It was too long. That's a really long movie for what it is.
Yeah. So, well, I think since we played a trailer though at the early,
one that I can get, if there's any problems, that I can get those problems taken off.
So you won't? I can't play the trailer for the Shadow Strays.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't have.
I can't wait for this to hit Netflix next Thursday.
No, especially if it's a Netflix. You can forget about that. You know how they do it. Come on.
Oh,
have you seen? You know how they do it.
It's not fair.
Hey, talk to Netflix.
Netflix
has literally told us to show their shit, and then
Shadow
fucked
Strays,
us while they were.
My boys from Indonesia.
Yeah. I don't feel like you're having to send an email out to some shit.
All right, fourth.
Turn your shit
down
what's going in the background, man. I can hear me in the background. Echo.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hit the mute button altogether. What's going on? I'm surprised you dropped the link.
No, I said I was going to do in the description. I didn't have, like I said, I had my schedule is wacky this week. So like I said, I've been feeling like shit allergy wise, so I didn't know how as I take this stuff and it's going to start putting me to sleep. But I figured I had some time tonight, so here we go.
Oh,
you don't drop the link during the week.
You know how Brad wants to talk about his Ghana path. Well, I wanted to say that Strange Darling was highly lauded for people that saw it, and it did not disappoint. It was really good.
Well,
thriller.
I'm not familiar with Strange Darling. I'm going to look that up.
I've heard of it, but I've only heard of it.
Oh, that came out last year. Okay, that was more recent. Oh, okay. I think I might have heard. I didn't see it, but I think I might have heard of it.
What's up? 2:30. Oh yeah, when they're blowing that shit up. Yeah, there we go.
Look at my face right now, guys. There you go. Okay. You got nothing else to say, Clint?
I say it with you here or not.
Well, you should stop. And by the way, guys, it's like now
why? It's a good Budweiser commercial.
Yeah, but
remember those good old classic
But
commercials?
it's associated with a piece of shit spoof movie that ruined my life.
But Elf is okay. That movie.
Yes, Elf is phenomenal.
Your
Elf
middle
is hilarious.
life is ruined by
Elf is
scary
whimsical. Elf is heartfelt.
Yeah,
Elf is Christmas classic.
I felt it. Yeah, I felt it. All right.
You didn't feel anything because you got the heart of Ebenezer Scrooge.
Takes place in the same world as Cat in the Hat.
No, don't. No.
It felt like it.
No, it didn't feel like it.
It's the same level of movie.
I refuse to believe you actually believe that.
So scary movie ruined
Cobra
your
did
life,
bomb. Yeah.
Brad?
What's that?
Oh, pull that back up. Pull that back up.
Yeah, Cobra did bomb. Yeah, the
Okay.
Stallone movie from the 80s.
That movie only got made because of who was in it.
Yeah.
You didn't say no to Sylvester Stallone in the 80s, but the audience has said no. And dude, the trailer for Cobra, they could have just put Lear in black and white. Don't go see this movie. That's how bad the trailer for Cobra was.
Vince, are you seriously trying to tell me that Clint is not trying to associate with Scary Movie every time he comes on and says, "What's up?" Yes.
The trailer for Cobra, you're a disease, I'm the cure. Like, oh my god, that movie sucked.
I thought maybe we could make gingerbread houses and eat cookie dough guys. Yeah, Ruth is like, we definitely have to do Watch Party of Elf.
For what?
Of Elf.
Oh,
yes,
fuck no.
Ruth is on my side here, okay?
I don't care. The movie sucked. And now it's been made even creepier with creepy animatronic.
Don't hold it against the movie because some Buddy at the mannequin factory to made a really scary version.
They watched the
Buddy.
movie and they said this is consistent with the movie.
We should at least dress up for the Halloween streams.
Oh, okay. Well,
do that.
Are you going to dress up with some Tusk Fourth?
Oh,
don't
I'm not doing Wonder Woman
Yeah,
unless we get the money.
Which hanging there, everybody in Florida, and just stay safe, and your thoughts are with you. I mean, I've
get the hell out of there if you can.
Yeah, exactly.
You're dude. The lady, the female lady on, I was watching the news, and she said if you stay in these areas that we've designated for evacuation, you're gonna die. She didn't say you might die. She didn't say you may. No, she said it's a Category 5. We got 12-footers coming in. You need to get. There is no such thing as staying and hunkering down with what Milton's gonna do to you. So yeah, everybody who can, if you can't get out, get the hell out of there, man. Because this is, and we've been having a lot of these lately, and we've been having a lot of them later. It's fucking October.
Yeah,
it's October, and me and Clint are in here in Dante's Inferno, and we're getting hurricanes weeks after hurricane season should be over in mid-September. We should not be in mid-October talking about tropical storms and hurricanes. Something's up. It's time. Listen, maybe a good percentage of us are going to have to get wiped out and flushed down the river in order for people to realize this shit is real. Okay, 100-degree Halloweens are not normal. So yeah, climate change is a thing, and it's the shit that's science fiction for me growing up as a kid is now real life, and it's not the shit I really wanted it to be. I'd rather have aliens invade than this, because this is bad, man.
Oh, speaking of aliens, on a more pleasant topic. Yes, Ruth, I think everybody stay safe in Florida. On a more pleasant, because I did finally see VHS Beyond on Shudder the other night. I love this series, man. I love the series.
How many episodes is it?
How many?
I thought it was a movie, but okay.
It's an anthology. It's combining found footage with a horror anthology. So every movie they have a framing story, and they have several.
How long is it? Because we were gonna watch that.
It's like, well, we can still do that. You can. That was, and I tried to get a screener for it. Just wasn't able to pin that down.
Now, so.
I would say 2 of those stories at best.
No, man, this one's awesome. This is the series has really been on a roll since '94. 94, I think that might be my favorite of the series. 94 is pretty damn awesome. But yeah, this one is it has 5 of the shorts. It has 5 of the segments. Usually they have like 4 to 5, and then they have the framing story. The only one that didn't do that was, and this might have been part of like why it wasn't received as well, as VHS Viral, which is the third one that had a framing story and they had 3. So
that one was like almost an abandonment of what the first 2 set up, because it was brought up by Magnet.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, 94, man, 94 just brought it roaring back to life, man. And it's just been on a hot streak ever since. I love this series every Halloween. I love the VHS franchise because William doesn't share this opinion, and I get it. It's like it's found footage is for everybody. I personally, I really dig it. I find it very effective, and I love this series, and I love this one. And it's got some really awesome shorts in it. Probably like what
were your favorite?
My favorite. Well, you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, yeah. My favorites. I think I would say the top 2 for me were the skydiving one and the one with the dogs. And
you like the okay? You know who directed the one with the dogs?
That was Justin Long. That was Justin Long. Yeah.
And that felt very much a lot like
what?
Well, my Avatar.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is a bit of a spoiler, guys. Who hasn't seen VHS Beyond? Was this one takes a little bit more of like a sci-fi angle, because usually they've been very supernaturally based, and this one has a little bit more sci-fi and body horror to it. So, and I don't want to reveal like too much of like why it's why Forth says this is like reminiscent of his Avatar. Well, I will say it's like when I saw it, I kind of like thought back to his Avatar, like, okay, this one thing that happens in it that kind of that kind of reminds me of that. But the other one was
the first segment was actually an adaptation of someone else's horror Instagram shorts.
Yeah.
If you look up like Oleg Vitolanko,
Yeah, I'm gonna pull.
He's credited for it, but that was a recreation of his short story.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pulling the Wikipedia for so yes, this one is, again, like I said, it's a little bit more sci-fi based than the previous entries in the series, but so it involves a little bit more like UFOs and alien abductions, and so the framing story is called Abduction, and then so the first I'll list the title of each short off. The first one is called Stork, the second one is called Dream Girl, the third one is Live and Let Dive, Live Let Dive. Fourth one is Fur Babies, and the fifth one is Stowaway. And Live and Let Dive and Fur Babies, those are the two I refer to. The first one is the skydiving one, and the second one involves the dogs. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I really enjoy this series coming around every Halloween, and being kind of like because during Paranormal Activity's heydays, like I really was into that series. It did kind of peak with number 3, and then they really kind of they sort of dropped off after that. They had a little bit of like a comeback with the marked ones, and then it sort of fell off with the Ghost Dimension, and then we lost 4th, and then what was that one it was called? It was the one they did on Paramount Plus, which I was looking forward to at the time, and they were the one that got the Amish community, but yeah, that didn't do a lot for me. So yeah. Paranormal Activity, it's like it didn't really. It kind of it started out really strong, and the first 3 are some of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Galaxy Quest bombed because it sucked.
No, William, it's the 9th best or 7th best Star Trek movie.
The audiences took a look at that and said, "Ooh."
I didn't vote in the poll. I didn't create the poll. I'm just saying that's what the poll reported.
Give a fuck about that poll.
The poll says
a poll could get together to 100% of the people say this. The clouds are made out of milk chocolate. It wouldn't be true. There you go with your polls.
That Williams can just create like just the craziest analogies of these things.
Quest. Let's see. How about that? It didn't really bomb. I mean, it didn't make very much.
It did
money,
okay, but it wasn't like it wasn't a runaway success. Again, it's accrued more. William notwithstanding, has accrued more, appreciation in the years since. But yeah, during like its initial release, it was like a moderate box office success.
Trash.
Yeah. Poltergeist franchise. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
Is that one with the chickens, Ruth?
No, that's Poultrygeist. That's a trouble.
Ruth, have you seen the VHS movies? I would think they're right up your alley. Again, I love this series. I love it. If you have like the ones that, and this new one might be like up there with like the Hall of Fame. I think I would put this up there with the best. Yeah, I would say like 94 and VHS 2, and now probably Beyond. Those are probably the. But see, that's the thing, because it's
we got to do Jennifer's Body though for Chappie.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with the movie. I'm just kind of indifferent to it. That's gotten a big cult following.
I actually liked Jennifer's Body. It was actually a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, well, again, it didn't do well in its time, and in the years since, it's really developed. It's really pretty big fan base. Well, because that was marketed at the time. The marketing at the time on that was the marketing literally was Megan Fox as a babe.
Yeah.
So that was marketed.
Just like Transformers with her and Under the Hood and that one.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
So that's that's developed a pretty big cult following in the years since.
I know you're young, Brad, but sex sells.
Okay, thank you. Well, it didn't sell for that movie.
Well, the only money it probably made, if without her in it probably wouldn't have made any money. Wishmaster, the first Wishmaster was funny because it was kind of a clever movie. The other ones kind of got goofy. That's kind of like Warlock. Rest in peace, Julian Sands. Warlock. The first Warlock was cool, but when they started doing 3 and okay, it's kind of. Warlock Wishmaster just got a dead meat kill count this week. That is most underrated. Yeah, and he's that crazy smile that he always had when he was asking, "Would you like to make a wish?" I'm like, "Ooh, dude, just like no." And the guy, what was the one kill? That movie probably has some of the coolest kills. Isn't it one where he's like, "I wish you would go fuck yourself" or something like that, and then the fucking genie made it so that he fucked him. I mean, it was bad. It was
One that was recently good was the prequel that they just made for the Omen movie. It's called The First Omen. I had no desire to watch that movie, and I kept hearing people loving it and watched it. And that movie was actually better than it should have been. Got me to watch the old series.
See, it's hard for me to get back into the Omen movies because the first Omen was in my opinion, the only one that I thought was good. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Damien. So I wasn't a big fan of all those.
Did you watch the one with Sam Neill?
Nah. Oh no, wasn't that the
That's like the third movie in the original. The
that
second one
2004. 2004. Well, the second one is yeah, I know what you're talking about. You have where he's like the Secretary of Defense or Secretary of State, and Damien's like running shit. Yeah, okay, I did see that.
But I heavily recommend the prequel, The First Omen, that came out like last year.
See, I'm just not a prequel guy.
Neither am I.
Everybody's doing prequels. Is anybody going to go forward?
Trust me, I hate prequels as much as you do. But I hadn't really my memory of the actual first movie of The Omen wasn't that like clear to me, and so it was kind of like
I saw that when I was a kid. So yeah. Now I've seen it plenty of times when I was an adult. But I've like I said, I've gone away from those movies. Then The Exorcist is another one. By the way, another one we are going to do this month. Exorcist 3. Exorcist 3 is in my opinion the best of the three.
As long as it isn't the last god awful Exorcist movie.
What is it? Yeah, they canceled that series.
Yeah,
they were going to do 3 of those, and they were.
Well, yeah. And by the way, that's like most of what Russell Crowe does these days. He does exorcism movies. He's like really just like left and right. He's an exorcism lately.
The Exorcist movies are still going to go forward, but with a new writer at the helm. It's going to be the guy that Mike Flanagan. Okay. I think he's Mike something Flanagan.
And he wrote one of the segments in the new VHS too. Says thanks to fourth. Why chopped liver? I've been talking about VHS in here left and right. Why is he getting the credit?
Oh, because Aaron,
are you that insecure there, Bradley? Calm down.
Aaron, Ruthie, Lisa, and I we did a watch party for VHS 1 and 2.
Oh, you didn't call me for that? What the hell?
Thought you might get too scared. I was kidding. You're advised when we go forward.
I've been like I was talking about like this is like my Halloween series now. It's VHS, and come on.
Actually, we watched those way before there was even the mention of Beyond, and even before we knew that you were interested in it.
Okay, well, Aaron, that's like Aaron, but Aaron's like we're like psychically linked. Like, how did you not know? It's like, how would you like getting my telepathic messages to you? It's like you were gonna enjoy VHS. I had a fourth beat me to this.
That sounds terrifying, Brad, inside your head.
No, if I'm well,
that's hot.
It's like you're getting you're getting like I'm recommending stuff like Gone Path and Life After Fighting and The Raid, and it's like so you're it's like if I'm sending you recommendations like it's like it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm like Martian Manhunter with like a heavy metal like taste and things.
You know what? I think I might do a sports show, but I'm gonna have to have shit on here to break and punch. Man.
Yay, Cowboys beat the Steelers. Yay.
Yeah, Dak Prescott showed up and earned some money this time around. That was a nice play towards the end of that game. That game was delayed. I'm like, wait a minute. You can play football in any weather. What the fuck are you delaying the game for? Shit.
Lightning.
Oh, okay. That's the only reason. Fuck it. You get paid millions. Get struck. You'll be okay. Hockey season has begun. Woohoo! So,
go Knights, go!
Fuck the Knights. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, any division. Listen, I don't have any love for any other division foes that are in my specific division. So, especially Edmonton, fuck those guys. Really, fuck those guys. I mean, my curse on the nation of Canada. I was gonna let it go after the Kings won 2 Stanley Cups, but then Edmonton emerged. Now you got another 30 years to go. Football season, fantasy football season. I lost because of bye week. Damn it. But I should be okay from here on out. That's about it. I'm even playing fantasy hockey. That's what a degenerate sports fanatic I am. And plus the Dodgers were a double play away from winning the game. Freddie Freeman out there on a bad ankle. Dude, I love you, man, but if you can't throw the ball, you can't be out there. But Gail Rojas is out there with a strained groin. Can't throw the ball. I'm like, I know you guys are gamers, but if you can't play, you can't play. I mean, so yeah, Dodgers lost 6-5. This is one of those years where I can't even blame Dave Roberts. Usually I have an annual blame Dave Roberts because he usually fucks everything up. Can't even blame him this year. There's nothing for him to fuck up. He doesn't have the pitching. 11 starters are out. Oh, well.
Yeah,
What's up?
I said, yeah, you should start a sports channel.
Yeah, probably will. I've resisted it because that show's going to last a long time. That show is going to be on one of my open-ended nights where I don't have anything else to do the next morning. Because, wrestling and sports, those are two topics I can just literally we'll kill over in the I'll have to take caffeine and stuff. We'll do like a 6 or 7 hour show, especially on like NFL Sunday. Sometimes I'm watching these games and I'm like, you got paid to drop that ball? That ball was right between your numbers. You shouldn't even go back to the sidelines. You should stay somewhere else until the next you make another play. Some of those plays in that Cowboys game, dude, and the Cowboys, Dak was putting them right on the numbers, and those fools were dropping passes, and it's all my fantasy guys. Every receiver I had out there, I was like, oh, he's going for that guy. He's all by himself. Drops the ball. Like, you motherfuckers. And I end up losing by like 3 points or something. Or a field goal kicker. Field goal kicker, literally, he's in the shadow of the end zone, shanks it. So you guys who bet like your house on this stuff and your kids' tuition, I don't know how you do it without like literally. I don't understand. And whenever I go to the sports book, because every now with my dad I might go because we might do like the pick 'em just or something we do as father and son. You could see who bet $5 and who bet everything. You want to see some people that are like, that are just like, it's like, I was watching like, I forgot what it was. It was last week or the week before. It was when the Giant, somebody had bet for the Lions to beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay ended up winning the game. So I guess it was part of his parlay or something. He was deep. He had his whole set out. They lost on the last play. If it weren't for the fact that the fucking little tables that you get to sit at were bolted into the ground, this motherfucker was gonna rip it up and take it with him. He was hot, and we was just trying to guess how much money he lost. He threw his hat, left his hat there, knocked over the drinks and shit because they just load you up with drinks as long as you're sitting there. And then you like 3 or 4 people that are like, "Oh my god!" One guy, that crouching position where you do this shit. There was a guy there doing that. I'm like, wow. Dude, you can't bet the rent money on the game, man. Just can't do it. And then you see the other people who had like a 10-teamer or something like that. They bet $5 and won 400. But that other guy, Vegas is tough, man. That guy may not be going home because he may have just bet his home. So I'm not that guy, but man, those guys are out there.
I've seen people crying to security wanting their money back that they've gambled.
Yep. Or bleeding their heart, saying, I don't know where to go. I remember Cody, I don't have anywhere else to go, man. I don't know what to do now. And you see them, and they're literally trying to call people up for money to try to dig themselves out. And I'm like, oh, wow. Dude.
Send them to gamble.
Yeah.
Send them to the Sci-Fi Center.
Oh, no. No, you don't have any money now. I don't need you. Don't come down here. We can watch the games, and if you bet on them.
Yeah. Ruth is so into Terrifier that she's giving like Terminator nicknames. She's calling it T3.
I thought we banned this asshole. Oh, hey, what's up, man? I love crashing his show with Anthony.
Yeah.
It's because they stream it like 4:30 in the morning, and it's like, oh my god! So I'm in bed like,
Yeah, because that's when he's just getting back from
getting back from looking at himself in the mirror.
Yeah, he's getting back from flexing like that.
Yeah, shirtless. I told Nerd to go shirtless, but he's got he's got ACS tattoos all over now. You know, he's just got like the whole. He has the words "it's fire" right across the thing.
No, this is like it's gotten to the point now where Terrifier is like getting the acronyms we used to give to Terminator movies.
Oh, because the Terrifier is the real T3.
Fuck you with all that garbage. Listen, I don't know. The Mark, by the way, the people walking out, I really don't believe that that's true.
Oh yeah, there's that whole story about
that's them
like
premiere
had like 10 people walk out and one guy puke.
I'm like, there are movies. Listen, I'll go see it. I'll have fun giving my review for it. I mean, it's horror, but it's like,
well, again,
I don't get the point.
Well, again, like I said, it's like the second one particularly. It's just just imagine the experience of like you're strapped to a chair in front of that elevator in The Shining, and it opens up, and that waterfall of blood just washes all over you. It's like
the Hostel movies for me.
Yeah.
The first Hostel, all right. The second Hostel, the kills are just like just for effect. You know, they weren't. You know, it just wasn't a thing. Eli Roth has a problem, and that like I said, he has to have something good to go to. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving too. You know,
that's understatement. That's like your Terrifier.
Which is weird. If you watch Hostel 1, it's actually not that violent. It has the
eyeball it's not.
Thing.
It's not. The eyeball thing is the other thing, but
no, really, guys, you can't. I can't stress like how much last year, like William, leading up to Thanksgiving, like all he's just like Thanksgiving, like throwing a
because they did look
lady in the oven like a turkey.
But see,
I was there with them, Brad.
What was that, Clint?
He was there with me.
Yeah.
You have a movie about Thanksgiving, about killings that happen in Thanksgiving, and all of your kills
are Thanksgiving
have to do about Thanksgiving. What more could I have ever asked for? I could have only dreamt of somebody being put in and dressed up as a turkey.
Well, like the opening really sets no pun intended, sets the table for it, because when they have the Black Friday, so and I'm sure you've dealt with this, William, working in retail.
Not where somebody's getting her
scalp torn out by
the cart and ripped out and bleeding to death. And
well, it's why I don't do, if I do any shopping on Black Friday, it's online.
By the way, most Black Fridays you might have some tussles over the TV, but that was outrageous. That was Hollywood, but
that was like the LA riots.
Yeah, that was the spirit. That's what people who work in retail think of. These wild animals that are waiting out there at 5 a.m. in the morning for some shit. By the way, it's a scam. Pay attention to the ads. Black Friday, all that shit that you're getting on there, 2 weeks later, I swear, you're going to have better shit for cheaper, because once they track their sales from the first 2 weeks, this is the most important time for a retailer. They're going to make adjustments. It's basically like giving it away for free just to get you to come in. Because what happens is wholesalers give you better prices as you get closer to the end of the year, because they don't want that shit in their warehouses. So they're going to offload it to the retailers. So as you get closer to January 1st, you're going to get some mean-ass deals. So Black Friday is a scam. It's a scam. It's a measurable scam, but if you pay attention to those same retailers, you're going to get some good shit starting from week 2 and the last week before Christmas. Watch
but really, the opening of the movie, again, it's like, if you haven't seen Thanksgiving, it's like, I mean, people are like murdering each other to get these.
We need to watch that on Thanksgiving Day.
Hey, I'm down, man.
You need to watch that on Thanksgiving
Day.
We're gonna watch me putting the turkey in the microwave, and then we're gonna turn on.
Let's see. Yeah, you guys might see some of my family like during that period. It's like I might be like over for the holidays and.
Stuff.
Yeah. Are you gonna introduce her to you in a wig called Ashley?
I'm gonna bring Ashley on here, guys. Again, she was well. In fact, that she texted me. It was before we kind of like adjusted some of the our viewing schedule for the watch parties, but she did text. It's like, I could. This past Saturday, she couldn't get on. She didn't have power either. Which, by the way, that almost never happens when we lose power. I lose it, she doesn't, because she's out in Richmond Hill, and their power, I guess, is like more their power lines are kind of more under the ground. So I mean, I mean, we had a hurricane like 8 years ago that just pummeled us, and like she didn't lose power that whole time. So, but
Why
this
don't
time
you
she did.
go watch Terrifier with her?
I don't think I've asked her thoughts on the Terrifier series, to be honest with you. Might need to ask her about that.
Hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Make T3 her first Terrifier experience.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, that's not something can't take somebody that.
I lost the wake of the hurricane.
Terrifier should be like a litmus test for if
It's an endurance test, is what it is.
Yeah, quality to be in your life. If someone can't handle Terrifier, then we're not meant to be friends.
Oh, see, I saw the second one. I hadn't seen any like Art's appearances in anything prior to when the second one came out, but I'd seen for every Halloween, I'd seen like Art the Clowns around. So, and I'd seen like the character on social media and the internet and whatnot. So he got big enough where it's like he was, he couldn't be avoided really as far as like a pop culture presence. But I hadn't seen any of the movies until the second one came out. And then I did eventually see the first one, but I'm bracing myself for Friday night. That's man, that is gonna be a wow.
The only sequel I'm kind of looking forward to, if they're going to do it, would be Violent Night 2. But I don't see how they can improve on the original masterpiece.
Well, bring Mrs. Claus.
Oh yeah, they could. Plus, you
Claus.
can bring Devin. Yeah, you can bring her in.
Bring the elves in.
The harbor. I mean, just another criminal. Just find another criminal.
Yeah.
Here's I put the oven scene in the chat.
Yeah, we did the VHS watch party during the time when Brad couldn't get on the sci-fi stream. It was a replacement watch party for the one that Brad was going. Oh, okay.
Oh, Comic-Con. For Comic-Con, where the weather stopped.
Yeah, the weather did screw me over. And we finally did get Life After Fighting on here, though. And you guys will always be in my debt for that.
And everybody who watched Scary Movie.
And William decided to leave before saying any of that bullshit.
Math.
Yep. That's it. We will not disgrace Life After Fighting on this show.
We didn't disgrace anything.
We won't do it. Okay.
Disaster movie got more views.
Okay, and you're out for the evening.
No more eliminating people. That is very mean.
Well, it's very mean. Like,
hey, listen, it's not. Do you blame the 30 or 40 people less that didn't watch?
No, I blame them. And the only reason that happened is because you all played play on that for you just press play and didn't even watch it like 50 times in a row. So that's why
I watched the whole thing. I was there.
Well, yeah, but you didn't watch it. You had it on.
There's no damn way that I sat and watched them push.
No, you just played in the background. You just played in the background 50 times.
I respect my background more than that. Put Santa on trial on Violent Night 2. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Ruthie's got a question.
Remember, he's like a
worst ever horror ending.
That's an interesting question.
Oh, William should answer this one easy.
Oh yeah, that's pretty obvious.
The Exorcist movie, that last one.
No, that wasn't that bad.
I don't know.
They brought up the figures of religions to
demons.
I remember.
Halloween. Halloween. The newest Halloween movies. Halloween Kills was just so fucking stupid.
I remember when I saw The Devil Inside. Anybody remember that from like about 12 years ago?
Not remarkable.
Well, because and you can look it up on YouTube. I've never seen an audience just turn on.
Yeah, you were talking about this, and it kind of just ended abruptly.
Well, it ended, and it said like, for more information, go to this website. I mean, they lost it.
Yeah,
they were pissed.
Say any Paranormal Activity movie, you sit there like an hour and a half of family videos, and then for like 10 minutes of horror, and then it's over. Like, I sat through all that shit.
Yeah, I could put Blair Witch on that because Blair Witch's ending was fucking dumb. The movie.
Did you ever see the ending of the second Blair Witch movie, the official part 2, not the Book of Shadows? But
yeah, that didn't save it though. Too little, too late for me.
If you would have put that ending on the first movie, I think it would have been really like a well done movie.
That would have been because that ending to the original one.
Okay, well, are you talking about the third one that came out a few years ago?
Technically, the third release, yeah.
Well, the one that's just called Blair Witch, right? Because that's the one that actually shows the witch like rampaging through the
it's like
her lair or whatever that was at the end.
Check out that oven scene, guys.
I haven't seen that
for you guys and your holiday enjoyment. I put that oven scene in the.
I haven't seen that since it came out. I might.
It's classic.
I thought William would have said In a Violent Nature was the worst.
Yeah, I thought that too. Yeah.
Well, are we talking like good movies that had a bad ending, or just shit movies that
Just
I wanted to
worst
end?
ending. It doesn't matter like the quality.
Nah, I
preceding
just wanted the violent nature to end this. So any ending that you gave me on that movie, it was stupid. You know.
You still have that live stream, Lee?
Actually, I think I deleted it.
I was so mad. I was gonna go and rewatch that live stream. You made that live stream.
Release hashtag release within a violent nature stream.
Actually, no, I didn't delete it. It's
you took it down. You said it's private.
Yeah, I privatized it.
Well, if we could get William Brothers to release that stream, then
Nah, I'm gonna wait till that guy wins an Oscar, and then I'll be like, you know what? You weren't always here. I remember your first movie was, but like I said, it wasn't. See, my reaction was mostly Brad's fault.
Well, no. I mean, listen, I genuinely thought you were gonna dig it.
And the way you talked it up, I'm like, dude, this is like,
but it has like some graphic kills in it, and so it's like the one in particular, and you even like heard that one is like that became like legendary. Like even you hadn't seen the movie, with the yoga kill.
The yoga kill was excessive. It didn't really. Okay, first of all, it's impossible. Two,
well, it was the whole thing was like she gets chased to the ledge of that sloping hill, and she just kind of gives up and just lets it take her out. It's like,
and the way when he does her body, I'm like, okay, you know what gravity is? I mean, what are we doing here?
I'll say the yoga kill was fit for like a Terrifier movie, but as realistic as that movie was pretending to be, it felt like he was just folding rubber around, and I was like,
and it looked bad. The effects for that scene were just, but like I said, the ending of that movie was stupid. They're just driving around. And then
and even when I saw it at the theater, I thought, yeah, this is going on a really long time, and you feel like they're like, so it's gonna like she's gonna like take her back to the barn or just she's in cahoots with him or somehow, and we were playing it up. Forth and I were saying like, oh wait, William, because at that point it was clear you were not gonna be won over, so you're like, oh William,
yeah, you're gonna try to guess him. What do you think it's gonna end? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I mean, and then I don't know.
You had some good guesses. You had some good guesses. We just knew that they were all going to be wrong.
and then the one that happened was like, okay, all of mine were better than this. What the?
Well, again, it's like I said, because by that point in the movie, we could tell that it was just a lost cause for you. So we'd say, okay, you might as well have some fun with this now.
Yeah, that was an absolute waste of time.
Should have watched that movie on like 1.5x speed. Then it would have the walking stuff would have been a lot more brisk.
No, that movie was really bad. Like I said, and a lot of people were like, now you weren't the only one to tell me, oh, well, you got to see this, you got to see that, and I'm like, okay, I saw it, and yeah, that didn't work out. So
I'll defend it as if you when I watched it by myself, it wasn't bad. Watching it with like a group of people and knowing it's a slow pace made it bad.
Yes, Garcia is staying with Daniel Garcia is staying with AEW. I got a lot of wrestling to watch. I got a wrestling event happening in my plaza. I love these weekends because I don't really have to do much, but I get to walk around and I'll have my belts with me.
If only it wasn't 1,000,000 degrees outside.
That's gonna suck. And there's nothing we cannot move this event. There's nowhere to move this event, so it's gonna happen. We did a wrestling event when it was 108 one time. Because we just didn't have anywhere else to put the event. It's sold out too. And we only had one key casualty, and it was for somebody that was already susceptible that had not been drinking water. Everybody else is just hot, but they had a lot of fun. But this one's going to be about weather this weekend's supposed to be about 95 with a 68. So they don't actually start the wrestling until after dark, so they'll be fine.
If it's oil wrestling, I'll be there.
Nah, it's professional. Sorry,
Bud.
It's
professional oil wrestling.
Nope.
Oh,
you got to get like different insurance to do oil wrestling. Believe it or not, anything that is with liquid, you have to have an insurance thing.
General.
Yeah, more so than anything. Like for right now, like you have an insurance policy on the athletes that are in our ring this week, but there's different types of permits that you have to do when you have to get like when the clubs and stuff used to do it in the 80s. They have to be licensed for it. It's kind of weird. Just find out weird shit when you do blood wrestling. All right. I won't be back. I can't. I don't think there's anything that could make me come back for a sequel. don't think there's anything.
By the way, that's not speculation. That has been announced.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a vet.
Well, Terrifier's getting sequels, and Terrifier is not as bad. Terrifier's not bad. It's senseless, but it's not bad. In a Violent Nature is bad and senseless. So yeah, there's issues. That's what we're. Dude, it's only Wednesday today. God damn it.
Who knows? Maybe the trailer will get you, William.
What, a dude walking through wherever? Where he's gonna walk through the city now and just walk? Do I get a controller to control him to where he goes and kills?
What if it takes place in the hood?
And where?
The hood.
No, then he's gonna be the one that ends up getting killed. Or we're gonna take him to Long Beach. Yeah, they'll steal his hook. Just try to find that shit. Oh, there we go. No, we got about 5 or 6 more to go. When they're ready to put it into it, then we'll end up in outer space. But like I said, Leprechaun is the only one that survived. Leprechaun went to space and came back and still had 2 successful movies.
I wouldn't be surprised if they take Terrifier to space.
Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechauns 5 Back to the Hood. Those are classics. Warwick Davis rapping with Ice-T. You will never see anything more funnier than that shit.
Well, what other horror character should go to the Hood?
Michael Myers. They'll find a way to kill his ass. If he goes like Hawthorne or Inglewood, he'll just turn up missing. You won't have to worry about it. You'll see some fool running around with a mask and be like, "Hey, I got a mask I'm going to sell you." Like, whoa, what happened to the guy who owned it? Don't ask no questions. All right.
Matty Rex was Pennywise should go to the Hood.
Shit, Pennywise is in the ghetto.
Pennywise is like the anti-ghetto, and
I like the memes that come out.
He's the opposite of the ghetto, where he's
the 2 dogs are in his gutter, and they're like, "We ate that clown." Like, okay. Those movies, the second one not as much as the first one, but I love that first.
I actually like the second one quite a bit too.
Yeah. I didn't hate the second one; it just wasn't as good as the first. The first one was like.
Well, I think a lot of people latch on to the first one a little bit more because it's about the kids.
Yeah, when they're adults, like when he beats him in the clown with the head, it's like, "Nah, I got to beat the hell out of this clown." Whacking the shit out of him, dude.
That was the issue with the second one. They didn't really push the story with the adults. They kept trying to go back to the kids with flashbacks.
Yeah. That's really all
wanted
it was.
To be.
Yeah, that's really all they did. I don't actually think it is one of his better works. I mean,
Stephen King or Andy Muschietti?
Yeah. Stephen King, because I actually read it.
It is like that thick.
I don't think it's too bad.
And then the stand is like
the stand is like something you could hurt someone with.
The stand is like it's the kind of thing where it's like it's like you could like that's it's like it's like 5 door stops in one. I mean,
yeah, you're not gonna find a bigger Dark Tower because the Dark Tower is more than just 7 books. The Dark Tower, it permeates most of his stuff. The Stand, the Dark Man, Randall Flagg, it's the same guy. And it's theorized that each of the monsters that are in a lot of Stephen King's books, all these ones, they are a part of the Crimson King, and as you kill one, you make him weaker, which is why when you finally got to him at the end, spoiler alert, the books came out 20 fucking years ago, and it sucked. That's why he was so weakened. That book pissed me off. What's up?
No. I'll say you're saying the Randall Flagg's powers tied to all the like supernatural creatures from other.
He was Mr. Sims. He was in the other books. He's in the Dark Tower. He's under a different name. Randall Sims. What's his name? And because he's one of the cool things about the Stand is that he is a major player. When he goes to that portal, he's a major player in all the other books. He just has different names.
Randall Flagg, the Dark Man.
Yeah, the Dark Man. But yeah, in the Stand is where I first saw him because I read that book, and the Stand is what turned me on to the rest of the Dark Tower.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm the weirdo. Like the first thing I did when COVID started was I put on the Stand.
Yeah, he Walter O'Dim he's in other books. Martin Broadclose, RF. He uses his initials, Randall Flagg, but he's in a lot, and he's the main protagonist or antagonist in The Stand, and he's in other books. Salem's Lot. There's pieces of it in Salem's Lot. If you look at the Dark Tower, I have it in my store. It's like a map that shows you where everything ties together, and it starts and then it ends. So if hold on, I don't know how big you guys are in the Dark Tower, but
I would have never thought. I would never thought The Stand was part of that whole thing, because it seems like an open thing, except for Randall Flagg being reincarnated at the end.
Yeah, The Stand. Randall Flagg makes his first named appearance in King's 1978 apocalyptic The Stand, where he tries to construct a new civilization in the United States after a plague. And he's in Eyes of the Dragon, which is he's under different names. Roland Deschain, that's him. That's actually the gunslinger, but he's fighting the gunslinger throughout the whole thing. And the spider that's in it. If you look at the Dark Tower, one of the books when he kills the dog, that's a fight. All of these little manifestations are supposed to be a piece of the Crimson King. That's his connecting thread. And as the gunslinger and crew kill them, it weakens him. So that's what the whole tie-in was. And it was a cool concept. What he was doing was cool because these books are different. These books are different. The ones that are not the canonical 7 are different. And then there's other books that if you look, that you would not think are part of the Dark Tower, but you realize that there's a familiar person of there. Like I said, Randall Flagg's the most prominent one. Let's see. Hold on.
Isn't there a comic series in this?
With very good covers, by the way. All right. So see, Dark Tower series. So yeah, you had the main Dark Tower series, but then you had so number 1 you had this Gunslinger, which is the Gunslinger. Dark Tower 2. Then you had the Wastelands, Wizards in the Glass, Dark Tower, The Winds to the Keyhole, Dark Tower, Woods of Kala, which is one of the best one of the novel. Dark Tower, Song of Susanna, and the pile of shit that disguised itself as a book, and the Dark Tower, which is number 7. But then you had the tie-in books where, let's see, you had a bunch of different, like I said, you had a bunch of different other things that were like thinner. I mean, there was a bunch of ones that were, if you were reading closely, they all connected, and there was like a little map that showed you everything. But yeah, they did not. I remember the seventh book came out. I think I wanted something to read on deployment. I finished it on deployment. I was so pissed. Those last 18 pages of Dark Tower, I tried to rip that book in half, but it was like the hardcover. It's like I don't have the energy, but yeah, it's a rip-off ending. I don't know have you read Dark Tower? Anybody on here read the Dark Tower series?
I read the whole series.
Nope.
No, Clint. No. Okay, so I don't know if I'm spoiling for it. I think books have a long shelf life as far as when you should spoil them, but I guess I'll wait till. Yeah,
Brad has.
No, he said he read some of
them. I read the whole thing. Yeah. And by the way, Ruth also she mentioned she sent me. Yeah, I was gonna sit here with you, William, and it might be a good place to kind of wrap up for the evening.
I saw that. It's
yeah, they got this. This is so awesome. There's just this cottage industry now that's of like these little creative popcorn buckets. This is so cool. I don't think anything's top yet for me. The Bat Signal one, but this is pretty good.
I have that, by the way. I have that at the store.
The only Stephen King books I've read is The Stand, and I think I read it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brad's getting tired, so
yeah.
Go ahead and and it is late, so and we did do 2.5 hours. So, all right, this week should be back to normal, except for Friday. If I'm going to see Terrifier, I won't be on the air unless I do a review.
And we'll come on afterwards and have a therapy session about it, probably.
I can't believe it's finally here.
I have no interest in watching it at all.
Well, if you do, be prepared for a lot of blood.
I'll pour a little popcorn out of my bucket for you.
A lot of
Clint,
red-colored corn syrup.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Didn't they do a popcorn bucket with him?
With Art?
And, they had some like unofficial, like just regular popcorn.
The mouth. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
We're petitioning for it.
All right, guys. Like, subscribe, share. I don't know where we're at as far as views and stuff and all that goes, but I'll do a canvassing of the channel tomorrow. Right now, I just don't care. Allergies are killing me. Over this weekend, I don't know if we're going to do it on Friday or Saturday, but we will be doing American Werewolf in London as one of our spooky season movies. We might get around to doing VHS since it's out now.
Please. Come on.
Yeah. But it better not be some overrated shit or it'll be bad.
It's not overrated shit, man. This
All
will
right,
make
guys.
some up-down footage.
Bye.